Here's Allen.
From the venue of eloquent skaters and high divers to the venue of high emotion and fast drivers, we welcome you to Richmond, Virginia for primetime NASCAR Winston Cup racing, where the lights of the night can simply be defined as wild.
Any race under the lights is exciting. When the lights come on and it's darker, the fans are more pumped up and excited. The lights are so good there that it's pretty spectacular, but when those cars just drag the ground just a little bit, that trail of sparks is pretty spectacular coming back at you and going across the windshield. I think it brings you back to the grassroots of what NASCAR is all about, the Saturday night short tracks, racing under the lights.
Straight in, I couldn't stop it. Don't go underneath me like that.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double time.
TNT Sports presents the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Tonight, live from Richmond, Virginia, it's the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. The Richmond International Raceway is nicknamed the Action Track. It's 3/4 of a mile long and it's 3 cars wide. After back-to-back weeks of car banging, fender bending, finger pointing, wreck your teammate racing, the Winston Cup Series is ready to rock at Richmond. For 5 guys, there's $1 million on the line, and 102,000 fans have come to the Action Track to see what's going to be bigger, the payoff or the payback. Hi, everybody. Bill Weber, along with Betty Parsons on the War Wagon on a special theme night here at Richmond. This is the back-to-school edition of NASCAR on TNT, and we'll begin with Earth Science, the weather forecast. There is no rain in the Richmond area tonight.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in the booth.
Exactly right. And then biology. Tonight, the Looney Tunes characters are on the cars, as opposed to last night when at times it appeared they might be driving the cars.
Folks, last night sometimes you wondered if it wasn't a cartoon.
I think Taz was in the middle of a lot of that. Now, we'll have more on the fallout from Friday's incident between Greg Biffle and Jay Sauter a little later in the show. But first, let's focus on tonight and the guy that could be the man to beat, Tony Stewart. He won here at night in May. 2 weeks ago, he won the Bristol night race. Tony Stewart shines on the short track when the lights come up. And right now, he's ready to prove it all again.
Tony Stewart breaks away with a 2-car length lead coming off the end of the backstretch. Stewart's going to win the Pontiac Excitement 400.
This is my favorite place, and I'd love to win one here tonight.
All night long, Tony Stewart's car has been better on the longer runs.
Tony Stewart gets his 3rd win of 2001.
I've been wanting to win a race here all my life. I mean, this is my favorite racetrack.
Well, I don't think he has much to prove, but he certainly has been magical under the lights this season, going for his 3rd straight short track win. Can you pull it off, Smoke?
We got a pretty good car tonight. Yesterday in happy hour, the thing was really, really fast, and Greg Zipadelli and all the Home Depot guys did a great job. It's just, we just got to wait and see. We got a long way to go from 33rd tonight. So.
Hey, you're starting 33rd. What's up with that?
I haven't qualified good all year. At least I'm consistent. Didn't qualify good here, but we got a really good race car, and if we get some breaks along the way, and if we can just stay on trouble and have good pit stops all night, we got as good a shot as anybody does on this thing. But we want to say hi to Steve Park and his family. We know you're not feeling too good, bud, but we're thinking about you, and we'll see what we can do for you tonight.
Well, if the garage area pundits are right, he's still the man to beat, even though he starts 33rd. Mark down lap 150. That's when he said he should be at the front. Today, Burns.
And Marty, last week at Darlington, Ward Burton was the man to beat, and he thought he had the race won. And then it got interesting.
9 laps to go. Trouble off turn 4. Key point in the race for Ward Burton. He's going to beat Bobby Labonte back to the yellow.
So far, so good. You're going to have probably about 5-lap shootout here, and we'll see what happens. Everyone stay what they're doing. One guy wanted to go to the bathroom. I said, no, you're going to have to wait a little bit.
Labonte looking low. the Southern 500.
And this week, Ward Burton's mission is to win, because if he does, he gets an extra $1 million for the No Bull 5 bonus because he finished in the top 5 at Daytona, along with race winner Dale Earnhardt Jr., Michael Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, and Elliott Sadler. But back to Darlington. Can the momentum that you guys had from that win translate here to the physical short track at Richmond?
Well, anytime you have something really positive happen for your race team, it definitely, boosts everybody's morale and makes everybody feel like their hard work has paid off. So we're flying high right now, but this sport can make you humble awful quick. So try not to get too high and try not to get too low. We blew a motor up in happy hour, so we're not really sure what we got on the long run, but I got a great Caterpillar team over there, and they're going to work hard for me all night.
Well, and they hope they won't be eating humble pie, rather that they'll win 2 in a row. Let's go to Matt.
But Dave, Ward has never led a lap in this event, but his younger brother Jeff has led 703 and only 6 false starts. But Jeff, the past 2 races here have been somewhat of a challenge for you. You start 4th. Are you back on track here in Richmond?
Well, I hope so. We had a good qualifying run. Here in the fall last year, we had a chance to win, but late we fell off. And then ever since that race, we haven't run as well as we want to. We came back here this race, and we kind of got back to the basics. Hopefully that'll get us where we need to be. We weren't as fast as we needed to be yesterday, but the car drove well. So we didn't look at the times. We said, to heck with the times. Let's make it drive well. If it drives good, then we'll be okay.
He will try to play the role tonight of $1 million spoiler. He ended a 13-race drought when he won at Charlotte in May, and guess what? It's been 13 races since his last victory, Bill Weber. He's due in a big way.
That's right, Matt. Thanks a lot. Now an update on driver Steve Park, as you heard mentioned by Tony Stewart. It was announced here on Friday that Steve will sit out the next 4 to 6 races, and that's a conservative estimate, coming off the crash last Saturday afternoon at Darlington in the Busch Series race. Steve was involved in a vicious wreck with driver Larry Foyt. The biggest concern right now, a bruise on the brain. Matt Yoakum spoke with Steve on the telephone this morning. Steve was up and around the house and feeling better. Kenny Wallace will drive the Pennzoil Chevy tonight. He starts in the 28th position. And Steve, from all of us here at the track, we hope to see you back at the races real soon. Take care of yourself. Now, coming up as the back-to-school edition of NASCAR on TNT continues, driver's ed and one young son that hopes to get the keys to the car from his dad real soon. But first, this word from my sponsor.
Hey, what's all the excitement about? Strong, murderous beast.
Not bad. Next time, show him a little more side.
Oh, yeah.
The Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes on TNT is brought to you by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on, Chevy. We'll be there.
And now it is time for the driver's ed portion of the show. You climb in the car, you tighten your belts, you put your hands at 10 and 2, at least that's the way I was taught. And if you're young Matt Martin, you look up and say, okay, Dad, what's next? Of course, this is no ordinary car. But as Liz Adelson reports, Matt Martin is no ordinary kid.
Matt Martin, 1999 quarter midget champion. 4th in points, senior Honda, 4th grade. The best is yet to come.
Your life is now. Your life is now. Your life is now.
I see these kids and I see the look in their eye and I see how they can drive at 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. I'm so inspired.
The worst part is crashing. The best part is winning.
I mean, short line him on the front straightaway. He can get him. Right there. He's quick enough to win this race.
If you and Matt could get on the track together and race each other, would he give you a run for your money?
He's already whipped it on me pretty good on the quarter midgets, and he gave me the chrome horn.
Wow, I kind of shoved him out of the way. Gave him the chrome horn.
You gave him the chrome horn? What's a chrome horn?
Well, when you hit somebody in the back and they move up high. That novice car, you think he's any good? That was a dumb rat. Why'd he do that for? Well, they're beginners.
There's a lot of kids racing around the country right now. And you've got your picture on the side of a cereal box. Is that pretty cool?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but I don't really notice it. I'm just acting like it's somebody else or something.
He doesn't understand the concept of the sponsorship. He thinks if you get a sponsor, that means your car looks cool, and he doesn't, you know, he wants a sponsor that the car's going to look cool, and that's all he really gets.
This car should be good. This car should hook up better than it's been. We're back on the soft tires. Soft right rear tire. So after you get a little bit of heat in it, it should stick hard for you.
My effort will be to get him as ready as humanly possible, within reason, as young as possible, because that's the future of this sport, where the young, incredibly skilled, already experienced drivers with no fear and a skills and ability that you just can't touch.
Yeah, get out of trucks, then we'll start racing bush again, and we'll get in the Winston Cup, and we'll race those for a while, and then we'll quit bush, like, you know, after like 10 years or more. Yeah.
The favorite thing I do every week is work on his little race cars. And I work on them with love and with determination to make them good enough that he can win with them.
I can't wait till my son has a son.
Then I'll be a great granddad. I don't know if I'll make it that long.
I don't know about that. You might.
But I won't mind being a granddad, though.
If he has one really quick, he'll probably be great.
The future of NASCAR racing is in good hands with kids out there like little Matt Martin, and the fearless youth is what's going to make NASCAR for days to come. And do not be surprised to see a young gun in victory lane here tonight at Richmond. Bill?
Thanks, Liz. Great story, wasn't it? Now, from that short track to this one, you're a two-time winner here, but that was on the old track. Now the three-quarter-mile track, where it's all about grip, gear, and guts. Take us around, BP.
All right, let's do that. But first, I need a couple of warm-up laps, Bill, because, as you said, I haven't raced the three-quarter mile. This is our Thunder Motion powered by EA Sports. Go down in turn one, down to the bottom of the racetrack. I'm racing Jeff Gordon out. You notice that Jeff with Bugs Bunny? He's very good here. That's the back stretch. All right, let's go down the front stretch. Bugs Bunny, Jeff Gordon on the inside. Down to turn one. You won't get your car to the very bottom of the racetrack. Down next to that yellow line, right where my car is. Come off, let that car drift up. Now turn three. Once again, Bill, you've got to get down to the yellow line. Straddle, is it okay? Kind of knock Bugs out of the way. Come on. Across the start-finish line. That's a lap at the Richmond International Raceway.
We're going to see a little of that tonight, aren't we?
We're going to see a lot of that tonight, I'm sure.
Well, there have been 26 races on the three-quarter-mile track here at Richmond. The winner has never started deeper than 24th. 19 guys trying to change that tonight. TNT Sports welcomes you back to Richmond as the Winston Cup drivers get ready for the 26th race of the season, and driver intros continue with a lap around the track, so all the fans get a good look. Now, about last night, well, you know the old joke, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. Well, in the Busch Series race here Friday night, they traded more than just paint. Let's take a look at some of the on-track action. Beginning on lap 18, Greg Biffle and Jay Sauter get together. Jay goes around and ends up in the wall. One more view from the onboard camera of the 60 car. Sauter going around and crashing. Then, after spending 87 laps making repairs, Sauter returned to the track, and on lap 184, roughly an hour and 20 minutes later, Sauter's car suddenly turns right and takes Biffle out of the race. Biffle was, well, irritated and delivered a punchline that Sauter didn't think was overly funny. Now, temper has always been a part of short track racing, but last night and again today, there has been some concern about premeditated acts on the racetrack and the possibility of potential injury. Now, NASCAR President Mike Helton is not with us here this weekend, away attending a family event, but we are joined by Kevin Triplett, the Director of Operations for NASCAR. And first of all, Kevin, thank you for joining us, and your view, NASCAR's view, of the incidents between the 60 and the 43 last night.
Well, and I think it goes beyond last night. We've had some aggressiveness over the last couple of weeks, and it's something that apparently boiled over a little bit last night. We'll take a look at it. We are looking at it. We spent today talking about it, but as you said, Mike's not here. As president of the company, he plays a very important role in what we do. John Darby, the Busch Series director, has a lot of input. I have some input. Gary Nelson, obviously, Mr. France. And when you're running a race event, and you have so many things going on, it's something that you'll discuss, after the event's over with. So a decision hasn't been made on what to do. But I would expect that, just like any other professional sport, when something gets out of hand or an altercation takes place between athletes, sanctions are imposed.
Fines don't seem to slow these guys down, Kevin.
Well, I don't know that I would completely agree. It would slow me down. But I think a lot of it has to do with the competition, and it's a tough time of year right now. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of teams that are not doing as well as they'd hoped. There are other teams that are doing better than they thought, and they're trying to hang on to that. And when you get down to this time of year and you have a lot going on, and you're trying to stay in the point race with all the money on the line, we want these guys to, we want them to compete, right? And we want them to be emotional, and we want them to be, it's when that emotion crosses the line that we have to step in.
Is that something NASCAR is going to watch with a more critical eye now after the last few weeks?
Well, I think we always look at it, and I think it's a very fine line to walk. It's, at the risk of sounding cliched, it's a tightrope to walk, when you're dealing with trying to curb the emotion that these guys have to do what they do. At the same point, and by the same time, it can't go over that. And yeah, I mean, we're going to take a look at things, and if it continues to escalate, we'll continue to escalate.
Kevin, thanks for your time. We look forward to a great race tonight.
Have a good night.
Kevin Triplett, Director of Operations for NASCAR. Benny, the 1973 NASCAR Winston Cup champion. Your thoughts on what has become a very hot topic here?
Well, Bill, there's a code of honor amongst the drivers in the garage area. If someone hits you, knocks you out of the way, then you're supposed to retaliate. You're supposed to knock them back out of the way. Kind of like Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd up at Bristol, 2 weeks ago. On the last lap, Rudd follows Rusty Wallace in the corner, makes contact, knocks him out of the way, takes the position away. Rusty didn't like that, and he quickly showed Ricky Rudd that he didn't like that.
Spur of the moment.
Spur of the moment by spinning him out down in turn one. Now, Bill, I don't really have a problem with that. Again, I would prefer not to see it, but I really don't have a problem with what happened there. But it's the premeditated stuff that I have a problem. Last night, you saw the 43 car. The 60 car made contact with him, and he spent an hour and 20 minutes in the garage area. He comes back on the racetrack and makes contact with the 60. I mean, I can't prove it was on purpose, but I talked to 75 people today, and I asked that question. Do you think it was on purpose? Every one of them said, yes, I do. I think he intended to spin the 60 car out, to crash the 60 car. Well, there's a couple things can happen. Number one, you can hurt the guy in the 60. And the second thing is, I mean, after all, Bill, you just can't do this stuff. The premeditated stuff has got to end some way, somehow. They can't go in the garage area, come back on the racetrack, and hit someone. It's got to stop.
And the point you wanted to make, serious injury or worse, and the damage to the sport could be beyond repair.
Well, exactly, because sooner or later, some force will come in that will make the damage unrepairable.
Benny, thanks a lot. We look forward to plenty of action on the track tonight. 43 Winston Cup stars. And next, as we continue with the back-to-school edition of NASCAR on TNT, the question is, does my driver play well with others?
The lights seem to bring out the best in everybody. When they turn the lights out, all the demons come out of those race car drivers. I don't know why, but it happens.
The Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes on TNT is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy with Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner.
And welcome back to Richmond. Now, 2 weeks ago tonight, it was Bristol. Tough race, tough track. One winner and 42 losers. There was a lot of activity on that track. Fireworks during the race, and as we've seen, fireworks after the race. We expect to see more of that here tonight, because when the fans watch action at this short track, they expect two things: short tempers and no shortage of excitement on what has traditionally been one wild night.
Richmond's, in my opinion, probably the perfect size racetrack.
The fans are right there. I mean, there they are, and you see them.
What makes it so raceable is just the way it's banked.
There's rarely tracks on the circuit where you can make a pass on the outside of a guy.
You can't do that, design a track to run 2 or 3 wide. I don't think you can set out to design one. It just happens.
And it just so happens that many of racing's most electrifying moments come in the dark. For every race fan and every race driver, there are 2 simple words that brighten every race day.
The lights make the cars look like they're going faster. They make the sparks look brighter. Everything seems to come out a lot more at night.
It might be Saturday night racing when we were all growing up.
The nighttime definitely adds drama. I'm telling you what, when they turn the lights out, all the demons come out of those race car drivers. I don't know why, but it happens.
It kind of gets you back in touch with your roots. I've got to get to the front in 50 laps. It's hard not to feel that way because that's how we were trained, because we all raced for 4 or 5, maybe 10, 15 years at these short tracks.
The tires react better at night, and the cars, are a little more powerful and wind up handling a little better. It is just neat racing.
Fans love the speed and sparkle of short track racing. You can't hear how drivers are feeling, but you can sure see what they're thinking. The bright lights, the intrigue of night, the intensity of competition. All you need is one guy to stir the pot.
This is probably the most aggressive bunch of guys in the car and outside of the car that you'll ever find.
Does that help you?
Well, I think it does. I mean, I'm still a firm believer in 9 times out of 10 that the aggressor will be the one that comes out on top.
It's very easy to be overly aggressive when you're in control of a 2-ton piece of equipment like that. You get to banging around with your car and doing probably some things that you normally wouldn't do.
Macho.
Yeah.
You feel macho?
I don't know about macho. You just feel like you got the biggest gun in the house.
I don't want to be pushed out of the way, and I'm not going to push anyone out of the way. There's always the guys that have their own system and their own code, and some of them, get away with it more than others.
Seems to me, though, your car usually does have a scratch or two on it.
Well, it's not because I've intended it to happen. These people just have a tendency to run into me. I don't know why they do those things.
The aerodynamic portion of these cars is so critical. You don't want to beat the front fenders up because that's what creates all the downforce. So if you can keep a clean car, a couple donut marks down the side's okay, but as long as you don't mess around with those front fenders, I think you'd be okay. I think if you're not aggressive in this sport, you'll probably get trampled over by somebody in whether it's on the racetrack or off the racetrack.
In this race 1 year ago, Jeff Gordon held off a hard-charging Dale Earnhardt to win on what was one wild night here at Richmond. This evening, Gordon will lead the field to the green flag, hoping to extend his lead in the race for the championship.
If you're on a highway road when it goes beep beep, just step aside or you might end up road runner runs on the road all day. Even the coyote can't make him change his ways. Road runner, the coyote's after you. Road runner, if he catches you, you're through. That coyote
Sports presents the NASCAR Winston Cup Series from Richmond, Virginia. It's the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. Richmond is a challenging place to get around. Lots of traffic, a few tricky turns, and the occasional irate driver. And that's just getting into the track. The 3/4-mile Richmond International Raceway is the short track that thinks it's a super speedway. 43 drivers ready to race, and leading them to the green flag, a 3-time Winston Cup champion, a 2-time winner at Richmond, a proven warrior who doesn't just want more. Like any true racer, he wants it all.
And one thing that Jeff Gordon didn't have before this weekend was a pole in the fall race, but he did it this time. And Jeff, you know, the only thing that I see different on your car this weekend is a certain wascally wabbit. Is it the bugs factor that helped you out this weekend?
Well, it's either Bugs Bunny or that chrome illusion paint. Car certainly does look good, and I think it just looks too good to run in the back, at least start in the back. So guys have just been so awesome here lately. They've done such a great job preparing great race cars for us. And, you know, it's making my job a whole lot easier. I mean, the guys in the engine shop are doing a great job on the engines, and the guys at the chassis shop. So we're having a lot of fun out there, and cars running good. We just hope we can keep it up there all night.
That's right. He doesn't want to run in the back. He will be the rabbit tonight, starting out front. Matt?
3 races ago, Sterling Marlin put the Dodge nameplate back in the win column. Tonight, he chases another elusive Dodge mark in history. He rolls off 3rd. He returns to Richmond with his Dodge boys, the site of the Detroit automaker's last short track win 25 years ago. But a win tonight would be a major accomplishment and a big surprise. Sterling's never won a Winston Cup short track race and led only 1 lap here in his last 6 starts. But then again, that's been the story of Sterling's season. One big surprise after another. To Liz Allison.
Jimmy Spencer and Matt Kenseth were a part of the big story last night. They finished 1-2 in the Busch race. However, their luck has not been as good in Winston Cup this year. They're hoping to turn their luck around tonight at Richmond under the lights. Marty?
Well, Liz, too bad there wasn't a $1 million bonus last night. Could you imagine Spencer with an extra $1 million? But that is the case for 5 guys tonight, including Bobby Labonte and Dale Earnhardt Jr. For Labonte, this is his 10th try at the No Bull bonus. Every time he has struck out, he's been in this position more than any other driver. And even though they're running better, he's honestly not at his best track. For this kid back in here, he is at one of his best tracks. He has won here 3 times, twice in the Busch Series, once in the Winston Cup Series, and tonight he has an absolutely terrific car. If you think Jimmy Spencer could do some damage with an extra $1 million, imagine what this guy could do. And Bill, I wonder what they would consume after the race was over.
We'll ponder that, Marty. Right now, here are the 5 guys eligible for $1 million. Burton, Labonte, Earnhardt Jr., Sadler, and Waltrip, all racing for the Winston No Bull money. 5 drivers and 5 very nervous fans as well. The Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes on TNT is brought to you by Autotrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet. By Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans. By Napa Auto Parts, we keep America running. And by Walmart, always low prices, always. Well, this is one of the favorite stops on the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit, the fall night race here at Richmond. 43 drivers all getting set for the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. And that's my cue to send it up to 3 colorful guys that are ready to call all the action for you. And by gosh, they've never looked better. Alan, Benny, and Wally. Have a great race, guys.
Okay, Daffy, thank you very much. Go comb your hair. We've already talked a lot about the contact and the wildness we saw in last night's NASCAR Busch Series race. Question number 1, gentlemen, to what extent will we see the same kind of wildness tonight?
Well, I don't think we'll see the same wildness we saw last night. Certainly, I hope we won't see the same wildness. I think we will see contact. It's almost impossible. We talk about they can race side by side here, but I think it's really almost impossible to pass cars and to get to the front unless you make incidental contact.
BP, I think we're going to see some wildness, but I think the difference is the Cup guys know how to pay back a little bit better and a little bit more discreet than the Busch guys.
This track's layout and its conditions conducive to great side-by-side racing. We're going to have some fun tonight. Sense of anticipation building all day. All that's left now before the green flag are the opening ceremonies, and they start right now.
Essex Village Community Church offers our invocation.
Every head bowed and eye closed. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you tonight. We thank you for the vision that you gave Paul Sawyer to bring racing to our city. Thank you for these wonderful race fans. Bless the drivers tonight. Bless their families. We ask you for protection. We thank you for the weather that you're giving us. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now we honor America in the singing of our national anthem by Warner Brothers music recording artist and country music superstar, Tracy Lawrence.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Tracy, and how about a big hand for the F-16 from the 192nd Fighter Squadron, Virginia Air National Guard. And now here to give the command for tonight's Chevy Monte Carlo 400, please welcome back the Grand Marshal, Mr. Bill Lovejoy.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The lights are on, the sun is set, and 43 drivers are ready for one wild night at Richmond. The start coming up next on TNT. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Winston Cup race. Jeff Gordon beat Rusty Wallace for the Bud Pole by 68 one-thousandths of a second Friday. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. Now, our Walmart starting lineup. For tonight's Chevy Monte Carlo 400, Jeff Gordon on the pole at Richmond for the fourth time with Rusty Wallace, a six-time winner here alongside. Row 2, it's Sterling Marlin equaling his best ever Richmond start, and Jeff Burton, the 98th winner of this race. Row 3, Ward Burton and Bobby Labonte. Ward, last week's winner, one of the $1 million eligible drivers. Labonte is too. They'll come from Row 3. It's Casey Atwood and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in Row 4. Earnhardt Jr. won last season here in the spring race.
Inside of row 5, Ricky Rudd from nearby Chesapeake. Ron Hornaday from California on the outside. Inside of row 6, Joe Nemechek from down in Florida. Todd Bodine from New York on the outside. In row 7, Stacy Compton, another Virginia boy, and Dave Blaney. In row 8, Ricky Craven and Dale Jarrett. In row 9, the 36 car Kenny Schrader and Jeff Green, the fastest car in happy hour. Row 10, Mark Martin on the inside, John Andretti on the outside.
Couple of Richard Childress Racing entries in row 11. Mike Skinner and Kevin Harvick. Harvick finished 17th here in May in his first Winston Cup try. Row 12, Bobby Hamilton and Robert Presley. Remember Presley with that hard crash last week. He says he's good to go tonight. Row 13, Jimmy Spencer and Terry Labonte. Spencer won the Busch race last night. Labonte, a three-time Winston Cup winner here. Johnny Benson and Kenny Wallace go in row 14. Wallace subbing for Steve Park, who's out for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks with injury. Mike Wallace and Jeremy Mayfield in row 15. 16th row, Buckshot Jones and Elliott Sadler. Elliott quick and happy hour. He's one of the $1 million eligible drivers. Tony Stewart going to be in row 17. A lot of folks think he's going to be at the front by the time we get to the lap 100 mark.
Brett Bode out on the inside of 18. Kyle Petty on the outside of that row. 19, Bill Elliott and Matt Kenseth. Elliott almost crashed in qualifying, puts him back in provisional land. In row 20 on the inside, Jerry Nadeau. Kurt Busch on the outside, who did crash in practice. In row 21 on the inside, Michael Waltrip, Jason Leffler. And the backup car on the outside, and starting 43rd will be Kevin LePage.
Drivers who failed to qualify for tonight's race. Hermie Sadler had a local Richmond-based sponsor, the Virginia State Lottery it was, in fact. Big pressure on him, wasn't able to get it in the show. Andy Houston, Hutch Strickland driving for a hometown team owner. Not able to be in the race tonight. Storylines will follow through our coverage of the race. What kind of short track wildness are we going to have tonight?
And you're right, 400 laps of bumping and banging. We'll see that tonight.
Staying on the lead lap. We usually get one stretch in this race where they go under the green flag a lot, and you got to be on the lead lap to have a chance at a good finish.
Yeah, you don't want to go a lap down early here. That's going to really hurt your chances, and pit stops are really, really important too.
5 drivers, 5 fans eligible for $1 million if one of those 5 drivers can win the race. Set to go. 100,000 on their feet at Richmond, and we're racing in the Chevy Monte Carlo 400. Gordon leads lap 1. Here's Sterling Marlin challenging Rusty Wallace for second.
And to no one's surprise, that low groove is working the best right now. We will see this groove, the fastest point of the racetrack, move up in the corners as the night progresses.
Marlin second, Wallace third, Jeff Burton fourth, Ward Burton fifth. Casey Atwood takes sixth from Bobby Labonte, and we reach lap 3.
Jeff Gordon is loving this as these guys battle for position. He's just driving away from him.
Behind Wallace and Marlin, the Burton brothers have exchanged a spot. Ward has gotten by Jeff to take 4th. Jeff is 5th. Casey Atwood and Ron Hornaday racing for 6th, but still 2nd place is the hot spot.
They keep trading the inside and outside. One lap, Rusty's on the bottom. The next lap, he's on the outside groove.
And I'm surprised, you know, we saw the Busch race start out like this, but then the high line got really good, and I'm surprised it's taken this long for the Cup race as well.
John Andretti's got a problem up in turn 4. He's off the pace.
I think the left front tire is flat on that car.
Sure looks like it.
Andretti falling back. Couldn't get the pit road first time by. It happened too quickly.
And we saw some of that last night in the Busch race as well. Left front is definitely down.
Uh-oh. If that tire ends up in the groove someplace, and it did.
Now the question is if he had contact with somebody to cut that tire down.
Let's find out.
Jimmy Spencer on the inside and John Andretti, and
there it is right there. Well, I don't know. It may have went down at that time. Car looks clean.
Spencer was clearly up inside of him, though, going into the corner and had position. So under caution early here at Richmond, just 7 laps in. At the Richmond International Raceway, NASCAR on TNT, bringing you the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. An early caution, just 7 laps in. Front tire that went flat after contact with Jimmy Spencer, and the casing from the tire came to rest in the line in turn 3, necessitating a caution. Dave Burns.
Alan, this is what came off the left front of John Andretti, and the Goodyear guys just told me there's not enough here for us to determine what exactly happened with that tire. It's gone.
Well, if you look on the door of the 43 on the left side, he's got a tire mark there. So he more than likely cut that tire. Whatever contact he had with whoever probably put that tire down.
A couple guys toward the back end of the field have made pit stops under the caution. Michael Waltrip, Matt Kenseth, and Rick Mast have been in, all taking on tires.
You see that tire mark there.
And we still work the caution flag here. We'll run enough laps, Wally, for these guys to get a really good feel. Well, we'll get back to that in a minute. Why don't we take advantage of the caution to get another commercial in? Back for the restart in a minute on TNT. Back at Richmond, pace car hits pit road, and we're set to go back racing.
You ready, and green, green, green.
Trying to get 9th from Bobby Labonte.
Looks like that's going to happen as they exit turn 2.
Here's a challenge up front as Rudd completes that pass. Rusty Wallace taking a peek at Jeff Gordon. Bill Weber.
Well, Alan, watch Rusty go, but the question is, can Rusty slow down? He says the brake pedal is very soft. He has a lot more movement in that pedal than he's used to or that he would like. Under caution, he said it would be okay, but it's a bit of a concern right now as he falls back into 2nd place.
How about Ron Hornaday, the 14 car? Started 10th in the Conseco car, just a 4th spot away from Ward Burton. And Hornaday already moving to the top of the racetrack.
Maybe that's his advantage in the early going. There's a team that needs something good to happen for him tonight. 30th or worse in 12 of the last 15 races.
This is on board the Conseco Pontiac. And I really fear for these bumper cameras.
The way he talks about these things, it's like he's carrying the note on him or something.
Oh, battle for the lead. Rusty drives on the inside of Jeff Gordon.
Behind them, Hornaday around Marlin for 3rd as Wallace continues.
Outside.
The Richmond Master to the front. Trying to get a spot from Bobby Labonte. Bobby slipping back.
So Junior's now in the 9th position.
Remember that Dale Jr., one of the 5 drivers eligible for that $1 million bonus from the series sponsor Winston if he can win the race tonight. Michael Waltrip, Ward Burton, Elliott Sadler, and Bobby Labonte are the other drivers. You can note them easily on the racetrack by the bright orange rear spoilers on the backs of the cars. That's kind of the signifier for the fans in the stands here and folks watching on TV.
Ricky Craven takes a spot away from Labonte. Puts him back to the 11th spot.
Stacy Compton next up in line behind Bobby to try and take a position away. Rudd working on Casey Atwood for 7th. Rudd's picked up a few spots here.
Started in 9th. He's now 7th. But no one has picked up the spot. Ron Hornaday. Well, maybe Tony only picked up about 4.
So I started to ask you when we were under the caution and we went to the commercial break so we could be back for the restart. Have we run enough laps yet for these guys to have a feel for the track conditions? Remember, they practiced yesterday a couple of hours earlier in the day than they're getting to run now. Then we had the Busch Series race last night. How about it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think you saw 5 or 6 cars come in and make that early pit stop to make adjustments. And they were really, really bad. Now, the rest of the guys are probably still saying, I'm not quite sure yet. I need to get some more laps on my tires.
I think Matt Kenza stopped and changed the rear spring or a spring rubber in the right rear. Oh, and Jeremy Mayfield just about loses it off turn 4. Big water card behind him. He saves it. Tony Stewart gets by him. Kenny Wallace gets by him.
But in the whole shuffle, it drops Mayfield back to the 30th position. Still got a race car with all the fenders on it at this point. Jeremy running so well last week at Darlington, close to the finish. Then got into the wall in the final laps. And Rudd moving.
Battle for 6th position.
Yeah, Ricky's car is working really good.
Caution, front stretch, Buckshot Jones.
Frank, we're
Very Buckshot. Put it in gear and go.
Can't get it fired.
Can't get it started.
Second caution is out. Just 28 laps into the race.
Now I think you'll see some cars coming in. I think they've got a better handle on it. You'll see some pit stops.
Wow.
Got some raw fuel in that pipe there, BP.
Yes, it does. As he was spinning around, if it'll start, all that flame will go away. Finally, it did start. But one thing, it had to start, it's going to burn up.
Yeah. Catch the grass on fire or something there. All right, let's see. Lead cars, just Jeff Burton is coming in. Jeff in 6th position.
I think you'll see a lot of cars towards the back.
Back is going to be Joe Nemechek in 19th, Mark Martin in 20th, and a lot of the cars from them on back. So of the top 20, only one coming into pit. Marty?
Yeah, Jeff Burton, and he was just complaining that the car was tight. They're obviously going to give up a lot of track position here, but they think they are much better on the longer runs, and they think that's going to be the key tonight. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Tony Stewart said he needed a little help in the center of the corner, so they made a track bar adjustment. They also went down 1 pound on each rear tire. Stewart's out of here.
Dave Jarrett in.
Good.
So 19 of the top 20 stay on the track. Only 6th place Jeff Burton comes in, and then those in the back half of the field. Different tire strategy schedules already. We'll see how that plays out when we come back. Back in Richmond as the green flag waves, and we're underway once again. Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, and Ron Hornaday, the top 3.
And check Hornaday out. He likes this running up front, doesn't he?
Telling you what, that car's working good up there for him.
2nd place.
It's over on the outside of Jeff Gordon. That's not exactly easy to do.
All right, Rusty, look in your rearview mirror. Your biggest nightmare is there. Ron Hornaday.
I'm not sure Rusty's going to make it that easy for him as maybe the 24 did.
As a matter of fact, Jeff Gordon about to lose another spot to Sterling Marlin, a 40 car.
Farthest forward any of the drivers who pitted under the car. Contact. Gordon's in the wall. The championship leader in the wall early at Richmond. a big moment that is.
Wow. Boy.
Lap 35 at Richmond. The point leaders in the wall. Racing for third with Sterling Marlin.
Like garage, bro. Down here, we'll come to that opening. Jeff on the last opening there.
Heavy damage. Look at that.
Plenty of room. Okay, guys, just remember our drills. Let's get it fixed and get all we can out of this thing.
You hear Jeff said that I gave him plenty of room. He was referring to giving Sterling a lot of room when he went down in the corner.
So let's stay here with all this safety equipment and find out. We might need to move first.
Let's go take a look at what happened.
That's a 40 car. Sterling Marlin to go in the corner. And right there, just as he entered the corner.
We talked about it last night. It doesn't take much. You're in turn all the time here. If you just touch somebody, he's going around.
Yeah, Marlin. The relationship between Marlin's left side tires and that yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack is what you judge by.
Right.
Sterling's up off the bottom.
There was a lot of room down at the bottom of the racetrack for sure. And I'll tell you another thing happens. I'm not saying it happened this time. Let's watch here. When you're racing a guy getting down in these corners, you drive in a little bit harder than you normally would. And when you get in there and you get hard on the brakes, the car will push up the racetrack a little bit. I'm not saying that's what's happened, but it does happen here a lot.
Dave Burns?
Let me illuminate you just a little bit. Right before, just when we went back to green, Sterling was reporting it on his radio that he had what he called a late push. In other words, he would drive in hard, and then late in the turn through the corner, the car would push on him. He also radioed in after the incident. He said he just slowed down a little bit, and I got up into him.
So, caution out, third time already in just 37 laps in this race, and it's the championship leader who's behind the wall with heavy damage. This is Jeff Gordon's car looking live as he goes up behind the wall back toward the garage area. Trying to make his way into where the team's heavy-duty equipment is to see what kind of repairs they can effect on that Chevrolet.
And look at that crash cart in front of him. With all the equipment they need to repair this DuPont Chevy.
And they're going to need a lot.
Asking him where to take it. They'll take it over by the transporter and go to work. We'll follow that story for you, but we're back racing on the track. Rusty Wallace leads Ron Hornaday, Sterling Marlin, now Ward Burton up to fourth, and Ricky Rudd fifth. Buckshot Jones down on the inside. Here's a lap down. Back in 41st place from his spin earlier.
14 car looks good.
He's looking on the inside of Rusty Wallace. He's looking there.
Determined to get out front.
Rusty Wallace took his line away from him. Rusty Wallace moved up on the racetrack exactly the same spot that Hornaday has been running.
Here's Ricky Rudd trying to get another spot. This is fourth place he's bidden on from Ward Burton, and Dale Jr. trying to follow him through. Dale Jr. started in 8th. Jr. up to 6th now, around Casey Atwood. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Jeff Gordon is surveying the damage. Jeff, something you normally see at the end of a short track race, not so early.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure what happened. I have to ask Sterling, but you know, I was just my car did take a little while to come in. Really, really good. I tell you, I'm real happy with the way the car was working, and just took a while. And so Sterling was faster. He got to the inside. I gave him the inside. I'm just working outside, waiting for my tires to come touch going in 3, and that was it.
How bad is the car hurt? Will you be able to get it back out for points?
Oh, you know we'll get it back out there, but it's not going to be much of a point stay today. I keep telling you guys, man, it ain't over yet.
Well, he came in with a 342-point lead, but that will take a hit today, Alan.
Now the pressure being on Rudd, Marlin, and Jarrett to try and have a good finish, if not win, and gain the most points they can, taking advantage of Gordon's troubles.
They're sitting up in that seat, BP, a little bit taller, knowing that points leader's in that garage and that they can make up a lot of ground tonight.
That is right. They're on that accelerator just a little bit harder. Kenny Schrader on the outside, the 36 car. Schrader started back in 17th, is up to the 8th position. Last 3 or 4 races, Schrader has been a dominant car.
I talked with New Moore's crew chief this morning, and he said they found something in their shock package that Kenny really likes. He thought they'd run well tonight. Talking about Ricky Rudd and championship, we talked with Ricky earlier this weekend about what he and the 28 have to do to get back in the fight for this title.
He has those same couple of races in a row, mechanical problems that I had. Then all of a sudden, well, look, we're right back in the thick of things. So we still have like 10, 11 races to go. He's going to have some problems. Hopefully we won't, but realistically we're going to have problems. But, you know, it's not impossible for us to win this thing. But mathematically, I think it's impossible. If we both finish the season without any mechanical problems whatsoever, then the championship's already settled. But, you know, our only hope is that he has some problems and we don't.
Well, there's some hope. That's what he got.
Rudd working hard on trying to get that 4th position away from Ward Burton. What's this been, about 7 laps now?
And the problem with it is, you know, with Ricky down on the bottom of the racetrack, where he needs to be is he needs to let the car drift up right there. And when the 22 car is there, that's when you lose a little bit of track position. Now the 28 will gain a little bit getting into the corner here. But it's getting off the corner. When you got to pinch the car down, it makes it tough to make that pass.
Dave Burns.
And Alan, earlier they were talking on the radio, the 28 guys were about running the high line that the 14 car, Ron Hornaday, was running and ran last night in the Busch Series race when he finished 11th. And so it appears that now if Ricky can make the pass, which he did, that he can get back up in that high line and run where he was quicker.
Looking down on Richmond International Raceway from the U.S. Army Skycam. United States Army, the Army of One.
Now, just a second ago when we had that shot, the 22 car Ward Burton actually pointed out the window to Dale Jr. that, hey, if you're going to get me, I want you to go down low.
As we watch this battle for the 4th position, Rusty Wallace has pulled away from Hornaday by about a second.
So we'll settle down. Wallace, Hornaday, and Marlin. Then we go back to this race for 4th on down. He did. He obliged. Ward told him to go low. It's one of the outside. It's one of the great things about this track. The 2 lanes are equally as fast. You can race side by side all night long.
But the problem is being down low, if you're down there lap after lap, you're actually abusing your tires more than the guy on the outside. You heat the tires up more because you're pinching the car down. So you're putting more heat in the right front tire.
Well, Ward defends for now. Hangs on to the 5th position over Dale Earnhardt Jr., but it's Rusty Wallace who's out in front here at Richmond.
What's up, Jeff? Hey, yeah, give me old 1-2. Give me old what for? Surely they know this means war.
Drivers carrying the Looney Tunes characters tonight. Where they stand in the race. 9th, 11th, 17th, 20th, and in the garage.
Bugs Bunny ran to his hole on the 24 car. He is in the garage.
Yeah. So Gordon right now behind the wall getting repairs made to his car after a lap 35 crash that you saw with Sterling Marlin. This while Ricky Rudd runs 4th, Marlin runs 2nd, and Dale Jarrett runs 27th.
And you can see Rusty Wallace, the leader of the 2-car. Sterling Marlin of 40 has taken the 2nd spot away from Ron Hornaday.
Interval 1.38 seconds from Wallace back to Marlin. And Hornaday has fallen another 2nd farther behind them. As you look down on the gap, there it is. There's Hornaday. Rusty Wallace, the unquestioned master of this Richmond track since it was rebuilt in its 3/4 mile form. He has just been outstanding and dominating here. He leads every statistical category at this racetrack since it was done in the 3/4 mile layover. Most wins, most top 5s, most top 10s, most races led, most laps led. Do you know, Benny, that since they redid this racetrack in its current form, Rusty Wallace has led 24% of every lap raced here?
24% of all the laps that have been run.
Since the track was made into this shape.
He's definitely the dominant car. We see Rusty Wallace pulling away from Sterling Marlin, about a 1.5 in front now.
Kevin Harvick, Ken Schrader, Bobby Labonte. This is for 10th, 11th, and 12th. Continuing to work on the 11th position, Dave Burns.
Yeah, he's moving back just a little bit, Alan. I checked with his pit, and they said he was okay, and right about that time, he radioed in and said that he was a little tight, and so they're going to try to make some changes when they pit the first time.
All right, so that's the update on Ken Schrader. I started to talk a minute ago about the conversation I had with his crew chief, Newt Moore, earlier today down in the garage. He said a couple of weeks ago, they hit on something. They hired a new shock specialist, and they hit on this combination that Ken really likes the feel of, and it's reflected in their racing the last couple of weeks.
Well, it makes a big difference. I mean, the shock package gives you a lot of feel in the racetrack, and what you're looking for, what driver's looking for when you look for the feel is grip. So if that's helped Kenny, that's going to give him a lot of confidence.
This is 9th place.
And we see Harvick has taken that spot away from Jeff Green. That is Jeff Green, the AOL car, the 30. And in happy hour, he was just clearly faster than all the other cars, talking about Jeff Green.
Now, here's the first of the cars that pitted under that last caution, moving back through the field. The 99 of Jeff Burton. He restarted in 25th place. He's trying to take 14th from Ricky Craven.
And Tony Stewart, the 20 car, is following Jeff Burton. He also made a pit stop, a chassis adjustment, and 4 tires.
So we're at lap 72 now. These guys, 73 make it. These guys who have not stopped up the front. If this is a long green flag run, how far can they go?
I don't know. To be honest with you, Alan.
Well, I'll tell you. How about
here comes the math. Here comes the math.
How about lap 110?
Okay.
Is what most of the people were telling me would be the farthest they'd want to run. Maybe not pitting under that caution could turn into a mistake if this goes green for a while.
Well, I agree with you, especially if some of these guys take 2 tires, even though that they may have to be forced to take 2 tires.
Battle for 3rd position. Hornaday, after that fast run to begin with, has fallen back. Ricky Rudd trying to take that away. Hornaday was battling for the lead just a few laps ago, and now he's battling for 4th.
Matt Yoakum.
About 10 laps ago, Alan, Ron Hornaday came on the radio and was talking to his crew chief, Donnie Bradis, that the car has become tight entering the corner, so he was playing with the brake bias, trying to free it up a little rotors. He said they were glowing, but not any worse than the 40 car.
You know, another problem you've got to be careful here is not running your brakes too hard at the start of the race. Because what happens is you'll glaze the brakes over. And what that is, you get the brakes so hot right off the bat, it actually leaves a film over the rotor. And it hurts the braking of that, and that never comes back. So you got to be, I think that happened to Jimmy Spencer earlier this year.
At the first race here, exactly the same thing. What happens is the brake pads get so hot that the material sticks to the rotor.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, they just won't stop. You hit the brakes, you've got a good pedal, but the car will not slow down the way it has been slowing down.
Burton and Stewart continuing to march through the field on the fresher tires, taking 13th away from Johnny Benson. Marty?
Well, I'd say the pit stop earlier has really paid off for Jeff Burton, guys. As we've mentioned, he restarted 25th. He is now up to the 13th position. He was a little bit loose and a little bit tight on that last run. They came in, they fixed that. Now he's just a little bit loose off. And the scary part is his car's just now starting to come in. They are terrible on new tires, but absolutely terrific on these old tires.
And that's where you want to be terrific. You want to be terrific longer down in the run. That's going to make a big difference towards the end of the race.
Now working on Ken Schrader for 12th. You see Bobby Labonte just in front of them. He's the 11th place driver. And we're 80 laps in. Rusty Wallace, the leader, has caught the tail end of the field. Lap traffic ahead here in Richmond. Log on now to NASCAR.com and check out the Conseco NASCAR Fantasy Challenge. Pick your own team of drivers and see how you match up against other fantasy teams. Log in today, and you might just win a replica of the number 14 Conseco Winston Cup Pontiac. That replica would be running in 5th place right now. Ron Hornaday having a solid night. There's your leader, Rusty Wallace.
And there's your second place car. Sterling Marlin has caught Rusty Wallace. I don't know if Sterling right now is a little bit faster or Rusty in trying to work his way through. Lap traffic has slowed Rusty down.
He's been in some very heavy traffic here these last couple of laps around. He's put Buckshot Jones another lap down, Mike Wallace, Jason Leffler. And would you believe Mark Martin is a lap down, 88 laps in Richmond. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the move.
And Hornaday is about to lose another spot.
So Junior to 5th, Hornaday back to 6th.
And the guy that we haven't talked about that's now in 4th spot is Jimmy Spencer. And he's duplicating his great run in May with another great run here tonight.
Can't forget about Jimmy because Jimmy never forgets. Bill?
Very good, Alan. You know, Spencer's had great runs the last 2 weeks, too. In fact, Liz talked about it on a pre-race show. At Bristol, had a good run going, broke a motor, had a good run going at Darlington, blew up, had a good run here last night and won. Spencer's in a car that has 2 top 10 finishes already this year. I heard something very funny on the radio a few minutes ago. They said, Jimmy, just be patient and you'll get to the front. That's a new strategy for Spencer.
Never work, Bill. That will never work with Jimmy Spencer.
Scoring serial on Jimmy, steadily picked his way to the front. And you saw the lead change while Bill was giving us his report on Spencer. Sterling Marlin has overtaken Rusty Wallace and gone to the point. 3rd different driver to lead. Jeremy Mayfield going a lap down. What is that? Is that some smoke from Brett Bodine's car?
Yes, and we see the Ford car has made some contact with the outside retaining wall.
Caution. Caution's out.
Now watch Michael and all these guys race back to the line.
Sterling didn't give anybody anything. That's how he's supposed to do it, according to you guys, right?
According to me.
Yeah, I agree with
MVP.
that.
You go for that?
I go for that.
Got to pick that thing up, boys. The wheel comes off easier.
He's hit it pretty good, whatever it is. take a look.
On the very right side of the screen, right front tire goes flat just as he comes off the corner.
You're right, BP. You can see the car drop down on the right front right at that point.
Leaders are on pit road. Under the caution flag, Matt.
Ron Hornaday complaining about his car was tight and getting tighter. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the left rear tire on this 4-tire stop. To Bill.
4 tires for Rusty Wallace, down a pound on all tires except the right front. Joe Nemechek has a problem right next to him. Rusty's getting his tires. He's on his way to Dave.
The leader is in. 4 tires problems now on the left rear. He shoves it in reverse so he can get around. And now they got big problems. Back it up and put it in gear, Sterling said. And now they're trying to figure out what is wrong with the car. He may have broken it when it came down, letting the clutch out and going for the gas. But they're still trying to figure it out. He wanted no adjustments. The car was perfect, he said. And unfortunately, now he's going to need a big adjustment.
Man, throw a jacks down under that car.
Well, I was just thinking the same thing, BP.
There you go. Thank you.
Transmission stuck when he put it in reverse.
Well, he's got it reversed and he can't get it out of. It will not. The shifter is jammed and he cannot get it out of reverse. Is what I'm assuming has happened. Oh man.
You know, one thing I noticed on the 14 car, when they pulled them front tires off, there's a lot of brake dust that came out of there, BP. So that could be a little bit of problem why that 14 is so tight.
And it could be what happened to the 4 car, because these brakes on these cars get so hot that they will actually melt the bead where the tire mounts on the rim. That's the closest point to the brake rotor. It will melt that tire, and the tire will go flat.
Ricky Rudd wins the race off pit road, followed by Rusty Wallace. Then Dale Earnhardt Jr. is out third. Jimmy Spencer fourth. Kevin Harvick, then Ward Burton, Ron Hornaday, Jeff Burton, Jeff Green, and Tony Stewart. And all those guys that were leaders saved by the caution flag. They were going to have to make a pit stop under green.
Tony Glover, the guy in the white shirt there, the team manager, cannot believe what happened to him.
Now that's the guy in first in points, second in points, correct? Is Sterling second, third?
Sterling's third.
They've had trouble tonight.
Happy days for Ricky Rudd.
Yeah. Although he may be sweating bullets right now. Yeah. He may think he's next.
You weren't superstitious like that, were you?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's the wow about?
A lot of sideways starts there, like they had cold tires or there was dirt on the tire. 12 car got sideways, 2 car got sideways.
All the guys are lapped down trying to get one back from the leaders, but it's not going to work because Ricky Rudd is gone. All right, let's get some updates from pit road now that we're back racing. Marty?
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. on that last run, guys, a little bit tight in the center. They took half a pound out of the right front tire. The car is outstanding, and they have a million reasons to want to win tonight. They look very strong.
Jr. running in third, started the race in the 8th position. Talked to him at the drivers meeting tonight, said, how's your car? He said, man, it's okay. It looks pretty darn good right now, doesn't it?
Rusty Wallace, we can see 2/3 of a second behind the leader. He's getting a strong challenge from Dale Jr. And we see Rusty losing distance to Ricky Rudd.
Looking at our Williams race chase.
You can see that these guys are just losing ever so slightly to Ricky Rudd. Dale Earnhardt Jr., great corner up in 3 and 4.
Here he comes. While we watch this race for second place, let's hear from Sterling Marlin, who was leading Philly came down pit road a minute ago, Dave.
That's right, and he put the car in gear that only had reverse. Is it all transmission related, Sterling?
Yeah, I think it is. I got in a little too hot on the pit and got a little too far forward, and Schrader stopped short, blocked me in, and put it in reverse to back up like we done 100 times before, and tripped something. So we hate it. Coors Light car is really fast and had a good car.
He had a really good car. He's had a good car for the past few weeks, guys. He's moved from 6th to 3rd in points, and in that time, he completed every lap, all 2,046.
Mike Wallace got some problems. Shaking the car back and forth to see if everything's in one piece there. Or?
Yeah, he may have thought he's got a tire going down, so he's probably turning the wheel back and forth to see if they're all up on air.
Mike back in 35th place, 1 lap down to the race leader. Got overtaken just before that last caution came out.
Battle still rages between Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And like I said earlier, getting in the corner, I think it's the preferred line is being on the bottom. But getting off the corner, you want to be up high. That's why you see one have a little bit of advantage right now getting in. Then Rusty will pull back up, getting up off the corner.
And Junior's making this pass 1 foot at a time. He finally clears Rusty Wallace.
So Dale Jr. to 2nd, Rusty Wallace back to 3rd. They're behind leader Ricky Rudd. But the 5th different driver to spend time out in front of a Chevy Monte Carlo 400. We are under caution at Richmond. Elliott Sadler's got some problems.
And that's not the reason for the caution flag. His earlier spin is the reason for the caution flag. He's trying to keep up with the field with a flat right rear tire. Here's the earlier one.
Ouch.
And I'm not too sure that the right rear tire wasn't flat that caused that spin.
I don't think so, BP. I watched that right rear tire, and it was up until he hit the wall.
So he got the first one. Now he's trying to keep up with the field and come back around to the caution flag.
And it peels off the wheel.
And when that steel wheel goes down and meets the racetrack, not a lot of traction there.
The bright orange spoiler, that was one of the cars eligible for the $1 million bonus if he could win the race. The fan who was paired with Elliott was Sharon Bauer of Peoria. Sharon, sorry. She's still having a good time.
They're waving goodbye to that $1 million.
Yeah, that's too bad. This team was so determined to try and make a good effort here tonight. They built a brand new car for the race. We're going to test it at a 3/4 mile track in Lakeland, Florida. It was raining there, so instead they diverted to another 3/4 mile track in Memphis, Tennessee. All just to try and get this thing ready to have a shot at that $1 million tonight. None of the leaders have pitted under this caution. A break here. Back for the restart in a minute on TNT. Just gone back under the green flag here at Richmond. Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton. They are the top 5.
And a battle for the lead as Junior looks on the inside of Ricky Rudd. Did not quietly got a spin.
Mike Wallace right up through traffic. More scattering. Hornaday is spun. The rest of the field is stopped in the cloud of smoke. And when the smoke clears, how many will have been involved? Looks like just those 2.
Oh, that was lucky.
All right, the 7 car, Mark Martin is right behind him. Come off the corner. And right there, some contact between Mark in the 6 and Mike Wallace in the 7. The 7, Mike Wallace just nails the gas trying to get the car to do a 360. It did one, but the nose hit the wall.
See the 20 just barely get through. Watch Tony Stewart in this.
Look at that. I mean, that's exactly what the drivers are seeing.
Yeah, you're right. You cannot see a thing, and your spotter is trying to tell you which way to go, but he can't see any better than what you can see.
Keep an eye on that orange 20 car. Well, you won't see him in the cloud of smoke either. Mike Wallace, he's coming there, and Wallace goes right down and clears in front of him.
And a deal like that, you're as worried about getting hit than you are hitting somebody.
On board to Mark Martin, you saw that great run he had and got in the back of Mike Wallace. Watch one today, he gets hit.
Yep. Damage to the back, definitely. Somebody got into the back of him.
Get a pit report on Dale Jarrett from Dave Burns.
Yeah, Alan, he's been battling a loose condition, and they made another track bar adjustment and changed 4 tires under this caution. Remember, they were off sequence just a little bit with the rest of the guys from before, but DJ's still not happy with the car.
Well, running back in 28th spot, I'd say not.
That's right. I think right now anybody from 6th place on back is not happy with their car. Well, maybe because Jeff Burton is 6th. Matt Yoakum?
Well, Benny, after that lap 35 incident with Jeff Gordon, which sent the 24 car back here to the garage, the Rainbow Warriors have worked on this point-leading machine. He's getting ready to back his car out. Tony Gibson, the car chief, and Robbie Loomis and the guys have put on a new deck lid. They pulled away and cut away a lot of the damaged sheet metal. They braced up the fuel filler neck so that it won't bounce around, and they can put fuel in the car to try to log laps. But Gordon just fired the car. He's putting his helmet and gloves on now. They're about 3 to 5 minutes away as Steve Peterson and Robbie Loomis are looking over that fuel filler neck. Loomis has braced that, but Peterson obviously is finding something wrong with that. They're discussing it right now, but Gordon is close to going back out.
And Peterson's trying to do, he's just trying to make sure, BP, that this car is safe enough to return to the racetrack. If that car takes another hit, it's awfully vulnerable to have a fire or something wrong like that. So.
And obviously that Peterson has figured out that it's not safe enough because we heard Jeff Gordon turn the engine off.
Back under green. Just to finish up on the Gordon thing, another issue that complicates items for a team trying to repair their car is this policy NASCAR took on, about a year ago, that you get one chance to bring a damaged car back out of the garage and get it up to speed on the racetrack. If it's not up to speed when it comes back out the first time, you're done for the night. You don't get another chance. So before you bring that car out, you better make sure everything's strapped down tight and it's going to go.
And I think that's a good policy, because guys are going to take a little bit more time getting it fixed than they would have just hurry up and tape it up, bell and wire it up, and send it out there, and then be in the way, or maybe even perhaps dangerous.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. tried to chase Ricky Rudd and fend off Rusty Wallace at the same time. Let's get a note from his pit from Marty.
Yeah, so far no worries for Dale Earnhardt Jr. This is a brand new car called Step Daddy. Not Step Daddy, but Step Daddy. That's what they like to say. And it's painted red inside. Normally that would be gray, and that's in honor of Dale Jr.'s favorite Busch Series car called Stepchild and Stepmom. Those cars got 11 wins for Dale Earnhardt Jr., including 3 in a row here for DEI in the NASCAR Busch Series. Now they're hoping that the red inside the car fires them up and reminds them of days of old. So far the car outstanding for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Junior right now settled into second spot, holding off Rusty Wallace, but losing a little bit of ground to Ricky Rudd as we look down on the Richmond International Raceway, courtesy of the United States Army Skycam. Be an Army of one. There are 212 ways to be a soldier. Find out more at GoArmy.com. Whoa, Rusty really had a run at Junior there in the middle of the corner.
I'm really impressed with Junior. Watching the rotors on the 8 car, he really doesn't seem to be used a lot of brakes to be able to run in the second spot.
And really, if your car's working good here at Richmond, you shouldn't have to use a lot of brake. If the car gets in good and has a lot of grip and will roll through the center, you really use less brake. The guys that are using a lot of brake right now, their car's not handling very well because they're trying to use the brake to set the car.
Dale Jr., Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton. There are your top 5 here in Richmond.
The Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes on TNT is brought to you by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there. And by Budweiser with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
133 laps in to the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. Ricky Rudd is the 5th different driver to be out in front of this one. Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Brett Bodine for a lap during pit stops. And then Rudd have been the drivers who have paced it. Big stories in this one so far. Gordon getting tapped by Marlin at lap number 29. Excuse me, at lap 35 while racing for 3rd position. Gordon behind the wall getting repairs made to his car. And then Marlin on a pit stop at lap 94 from the lead, breaking the transmission on his car. And he's behind the wall. That's 1st and 3rd in the championship who are in the garage right now. Bill Weber.
Well, Alan, during the most recent caution period, all the teams were warned on the NASCAR frequency. It's 9:15. The penalty box is open. This is your only warning. We had NASCAR Director of Operations Kevin Triplett on the pre-race show talking about the on-track incidents last night and the last couple of weeks in the Busch Series. But you have to be certain of one thing. NASCAR is watching the Winston Cup guys even more closely. They're more experienced, better drivers, better performance, and more patience is expected from them.
The penalty box door is open.
What happens if someone makes contact with another car in front of them and NASCAR deems it to be irresponsible? They will bring that driver in that made the contact, and he will sit for a couple of laps.
And the bottom line is that will be a judgment call on the NASCAR race control officials' part. They make the call from here in the tower. Was that rough driving or was it incidental contact? Was it pass interference? Was it not? Same concept.
Every sport has got to have a referee. Now let's check Rusty Wallace and see what kind of RPMs he's turning. The front straightaway is really where they use these engines up. Watch this, 70, 85, 6, 9,100 RPMs. It's probably 300 or 400 more RPMs than the backstretch. We saw 91. Let's see what we see in the back. 8,700 RPM. Exactly 400. I did good. What kind of mile per hour down this front straightaway? The fastest part? 146 miles per hour before he slams on the brakes and turns left.
Told you all about Rusty's superlatives here at Richmond and how much he's dominated at this track. We talked with him about that earlier in this weekend, and he said one word here for him: confidence.
When I go to Richmond, I feel like, hey, this is a track I'm going to win. And when I go to the rest of the racetracks, I go there to win. But I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of hot rods, they got a chance to win this track. But when I go to Richmond, I'm thinking, I've won here 6 or 7 times, and I'm probably one of the favorites to win here. And I go there with a lot better mental attitude when I go to Richmond.
Hey, Rusty's car's tight. Real tight right now. Looks tight. Tight as a hair shirt.
Are you sure it's tight? What was that line?
Tighter than a hair shirt.
Like Sterling Marlin has repaired the transmission on his car.
What's a hair shirt?
I'll let you think about that one.
I thought about it. I don't like the mental image.
Not getting up to speed very quick, is it?
No,
And here comes Jeff Gordon. Been in the garage since lap 35. We're at 143 now.
Saw a new deck lid on the DuPont Chevrolet. I would hope so, because the other one is badly mangled.
107 laps down for Gordon, 48 laps down for Marlin. minimum lap time that they have to run here tonight is a 25.31 second lap.
Battle for the 5th position, and Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, takes it away.
Brett Bodine's car has just been reported out of the race due to overheating. Mike Wallace's car is in the garage as well. Kevin LePage and Elliott Sadler also both off the track.
Tony Stewart started back in 33rd position. He's closing in on 6th spot. Walking through the garage here this afternoon, talking to the mechanics. Who's the favorite to win? They all told me Tony Stewart is so fast. It's unbelievable.
But it's about to be lap 150, and he's not leading. Matt?
Alan, after his first pit stop on lap 29, he's been climbing about 10 spots every 25 to 30 laps. But like you mentioned, his prediction of lap 150 of being in the lead is probably not going to happen. He's had trouble. His car a little bit loose. About 10 laps ago, he wanted some confirmation from his crew chief, Greg Zimbelli, who became a new father on Wednesday, about which way to turn the brake bias, because he wasn't exactly sure, but he's not going to make the lead by lap 150.
All right, let's see if Tony Stewart is gaining on Ricky Rudd or losing ground. He's 5.16, 5.17. Now he's lost some ground as he went up to pass the 21 car. The lap car, you can see that he cost Tony Stewart about a 1/10 of a second. .27, right along with him. We'll see, just increased the distance by about 2/10. Tony's back where he started.
Nice little wiggle there coming across the start-finish line.
But it looks like that Tony Stewart right now is about 0.05 of a second per lap slower than Ricky Rudd.
Tony, you don't want to turn that brake bias to the right, because clockwise is more rear brake, and if you're loose, it's going to be worse.
Stewart hanging out in 7th spot, trying to get 6th away from Ward Burton, which he will do with relative ease. He just blew by Ward. Gordon back on pit road. What color do you think that car is, Benny?
I don't have any idea, but I was really looking forward to seeing this car under the lights and seeing it change colors and what have you.
All right, come on, take a guess. What color is that car? There is a name for it.
Good there.
I have no idea.
Absolute Purpline Prism.
That would have been my second guess.
That would have been my second
That's
guess.
the official name for that color.
Blue would have been the first one.
Matt?
Well, I can't give you the name of the paint color, Alan, but if you wanted to paint your own car or your Harley, $100 a gallon. How about those numbers, huh?
No thanks.
You got a Harley?
Painting the tank and the fenders on my Harley with that stuff would cost more than the bike did.
Man.
So Gordon now 111 laps down and headed back out on track. Going to be a big hit in the points for him tonight. Good thing he had a big lead coming in. Here's a look at our Wendy's race menu as we continue our coverage of the race for the championship. Next weekend, it goes back to NBC, Loudon, New Hampshire. Second visit of the season of the Magic Mile. Then it's on to Dover and the Monster Mile. Brand new track in Kansas City and Charlotte for 500 miles. All that upcoming on TNT and NBC, the race for the championship. It'll be a little more interesting race after tonight, provided that man can run to the finish after Jeff Gordon had his early problems with Sterling Marlin. Got a new guy chasing Rudd. Rusty Wallace has moved into second about 10 laps ago.
And Dale Jr. has fallen back to the 4th position. But I'm sure that Ricky Rudd's crew is telling him they've got a new player in this field. The guy in 6th spot right now, Tony Stewart. The last 2 or 3 laps, Tony Stewart has been faster than Ricky Rudd.
Napa Field summary. Wallace, Rudd, Gordon, Marlin, Brett Bodine have been the 5 drivers who've led. Had a lot of cautions in the opening laps. Just a couple of cars officially out of the race. Mike Wallace from an accident and Brett Bodine from overheating. Kevin LePage is behind the wall. They're continuing to work on his car. got 30 cars right now in the same circuit with the leader, and here comes Kevin Harvick. Well, he was, till he had that little slide there. Marty?
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr., you guys were just talking about how well or how poorly his car actually is running right now. He is tied in the middle and really loose off. And what happens is when he's tied in the middle, when the car finally turns, it makes the car loose. So they have to fix the tied in the middle problem first before the loose off will help out.
That's exactly right, Marty. What happens is when you're pulling the car down, you got those front tires turned, and when you get off the corner, finally, those front tires get a grip, and it just swings the rear car around and makes it loose. We got trouble up in 2.
Buckshot Jones, Ron Hornaday involved. And it looks like Matt Kenseth has gotten a piece of it. 7th caution. Here they come, back to the caution. And Rudd holds the lead. What a shame for Hornaday.
Sure was. Had a great run going. We see a little fire under the hood as he tries to get the car
to a fire extinguisher.
Now we see the fire under the car.
Not very happy with the 44 by the looks of it.
Okay, last night when two guys who were involved in an accident parked next to each other, it got kind of interesting on the track. This doesn't look like it has the intensity.
No, I don't think so. I think right now that Ron Hornaday, as we see him taking his gloves off and getting ready to get out of the car, I just think he's too disappointed right now to do too much of anything.
I believe he may have a conversation here. He didn't get the chance to have that conversation. Buckshot wisely.
He looked like he wanted to, though, didn't he? That's too bad. Ron had a great run going in the early laps. That car is a mess.
Ran real good last night, too, in the Busch race.
Buckshot Jones has taken his car into the garage area. Don't look, Ron. You're not going to be happy what you see under there. And Matt Kenseth, the 3rd car involved. Pit road is closed, so we'll take a commercial break here. Come back for the pit stops and the restart on TNT. At the Richmond International Raceway, under caution once again, 7th time in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400.
Watch his 17, it's Matt Kenseth. As Hornaday is spinning down the racetrack, Kenseth tries to go between him, the inside wall, and Hornaday, and caught mostly Hornaday.
Let's see what happens here. We got him going down on the inside of the 44. It's just hard to tell from that angle what if 44 came down on the 14 and the 14 slid up into him. The 14 would have been fine if Kenseth would have missed him, though.
Yeah, I don't think they had much damage at all. Matt Yoakum.
Kevin Harvick was the first car of the leaders that hit his pit box. He says his car was extremely loose, but his crew chief Kevin Hamlin says, but you're very fast. He says, yes, but I can't pass anybody. Air pressure adjustment in the right rear. To Bill.
Air pressure adjustment for Rusty Wallace to put the car back where it was. They got a plastic bag off the grill. He's away today.
Here's for Ricky Rudd, no changes. He's out of here. He is beaten by Rusty Wallace. Let's go to Marty.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. came down pit road. He said, I have a real bad push, but don't fix the loose off problem. Help me turn the car. Half or a pound out of the right front, a pound into the left front, pound into both rear tires. That should help him have more forward bite and up on the track bar. A host of changes for Jr. Because of that, he lost a position on pit road.
Did you see that Rusty Wallace crew pull that?
I'll tell you what, that is a pit stop, boys. You guys did great.
They trying to get in my pocket, aren't they?
Man.
Wallace, Rudd, Spencer, and then Harvick and Earnhardt Jr. try to decide who got off pit road next between them. NASCAR on TNT from the Richmond International Raceway, where the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes is under caution for a 7th time. Let's check in the garage area with Liz Allison.
Ron, you had a great run going out there. What happened?
I had a real good car. Just that run, we got extremely tight, and I started putting some rear brake in it, and Buckshot got up in the marbles up there, and I went off in the corner. When I hit the brake, the back of the car came around, and I actually slid straight into him. My own fault. I hate to see them tearing up all them race cars. We definitely had a good car. These guys, pretty good. Put a good car under me, but just our luck's going. I just hate to see the other cars getting wrecked with it. This thing's got to turn around for us.
Well, looks like you're walking into the NASCAR trailer. What's the reason for that?
I don't know. They asked us to come over, and I'm sure they're going to park us, but it'd be the best thing to happen to it. We tore the car up pretty good, and you know, the first start put us behind us. Everybody checked up. Lap car got into somebody up there, and it turned us around. We weren't even involved in the accident. We just got spun around and put us that far back. So track position was everything, and just put a bad set of tires on, I guess. Got really extremely tight, and I'll take blame.
The car that was running great has had a bad turn tonight. Alan?
Hey, BP, remember we had that camera right up in the nose piece of Hornaday's car?
Yeah.
Remember you said it wouldn't make the night?
Oh, yeah.
Check this out.
There it is. That's the camera I'm talking about. We got a little damage there. As he goes down, watch Kenseth.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
They can fix that, can't they?
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Mr. Insurance Company. I've got a question for you about this camera I own.
Whee! I bet we're doing 90 miles an hour.
Ooh, these boys are acting better than you, pretty cat.
Join NASCAR as they celebrate the American family with Looney Tunes die-cast collectibles. Bugs, Taz, Marvin the Martian, and more of your favorite paint schemes are all available by logging on to NASCAR.com or enter America Online keyword NASCAR and select the store now. That's Sylvester and Tweety on the Kenny Wallace car tonight. Liz?
I'm with Buckshot Jones, who's another guy back here in the garage area. Buckshot, you don't look very happy. What happened?
I don't know. We didn't start off to have a good night. We thought we were going to be pretty good, just a little bit too off on the chassis. And, you know, got the car running where it was halfway decent there. I don't know, when we wanted to, and somebody got in the back of it, ended up in the wall.
It looks like you're still working on it. You're going to try to get back out there?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we got to get as many points as we can. It's tore up pretty good, so we're going to get it the best we can and go back out there.
Well, Alan, welcome to Richmond.
Yeah. 6 cars in the garage. What's that, Walt?
Oh, Buckshot needs a good run. I mean, he's having a terrible year, and I feel for him there.
Still under caution. They're blowing the track off in Richmond. We are located just outside the city limits of Richmond, Virginia, in Henrico County, to be specific, where the Richmond International Raceway tonight hosts the Chevy Monte Carlo 400. Here is our update on the Coca-Cola Racing family and where they stand.
There they stand.
How about Kyle Petty? Up to 12th.
Tell you, Kyle, he has marched to the front quietly, but
started 36th. Dale Jarrett, kind of a struggling night for DJ so far, 16th. John Andretti involved in an early spin. Here's our NASCAR Busch Series update. They ran an absolutely wild and crazy race here at Richmond last night. Guys spinning each other out, punches thrown, threw it all. And won the race.
And that was just in the booth.
Jeffrey Bodine, great run. Johnny Sauter, 5th place in his first time out for Richard Childress. And you see Kevin Harvick with a 274-point lead. Next race for the Busch Series is a week from Saturday at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. Here's our Craftsman Truck Series update. Jack Sprague and Kevin Harvick traded the lead twice in the final laps Thursday here at Richmond. Sprague took the win. And we are back racing in the Winston Cup event here at Richmond with Rusty Wallace leading. Mark Martin's 28th place, first car lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap.
That's Jimmy Spencer. Third place car on the outside of Mark. Clears Mark. Martin takes off after Ricky Rudd.
Wallace, Rudd, Spencer, Harvick, Earnhardt Jr., Ben Stewart, Ward Burton, Johnny Benson, Terry Labonte up to 9th.
Battle for the lead. Here's Rudd on that left rear quarter. Rusty Wallace down in 1.
Man, that 28 is on the bottom. Hooked up down there.
We can see that Rudd says 1/10 of a second behind. Now he's just 0.06 of a second. Check it out, side by side down the back. But Rusty Wallace prevails once again.
It's like you were talking earlier, Wally, that Rudd's car just needs the whole racetrack.
Yeah, he gets in really good. He gets through the center good. But in order to jam the gas on the middle off, to keep that momentum going, you need to let the car slide up to the wall. If you hold it down on the bottom line, you actually scrub speed off, getting off the turns.
But Ricky Rudd realizes that he needs to get by Rusty Wallace while these tires are nice and cool, and he's got some kind of grip on the bottom of the racetrack. That's why he's trying so hard.
Just can't get off of turn 2. Every time he looks like he has the nose out in front, they get to turn 2, and Rusty comes out ahead of him.
Yeah. You know, Ricky's only hope right there is that maybe Rusty drives it in a little bit too deep and slides up the racetrack, and Ricky can get that half-car advantage getting through the center and then pull up off the turn. But man, Rusty just right now has got his car working a lot better than he had it earlier.
Kevin Harvick closing in on the back of Jimmy Spencer.
Yeah, front 6 cars all right there together. Let's check speeds at the line.
Looking pretty good for the top 2. But meanwhile, Harvick's on the inside of Spencer. Could not make it, had to back off.
Now, based on the last run, I think Tony Stewart's car was the better of these 6 cars after they've got a bunch of laps on their tires.
Let's go through the field and check out where the front runners are and how their races are progressing. We start with Bill Weber.
Well, another good night for Rusty Wallace at Richmond. He wasn't really happy when they made the air pressure change on the previous pit stop, so they put the tire pressure back. His car does not start off strong. You saw that in the battle with Rudd, but it does seem to get better longer. Rusty reminded Robin Pemberton and his crew chief, no air pressure changes late in the race. The car just will not respond. Rusty leads. Ricky Rudd is in second, Dave.
And Bill, Ricky Rudd's trying to win his first race here since 1984. I just checked with Michael McSwain, his crew chief. No adjustments to the 28. They like the way the car is handling. They didn't even change any air pressure. Bill?
Jimmy Spencer is having another great run, 3rd week in a row. Can they finally make it pay off? His car gets loose deep in the run, but that's Spencer's style. So they didn't make any changes on that last stop, except for 4 tires and fuel. Spencer, another strong run. He's got the 8 right on his bumper, Marty.
And that is Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is right on Jimmy Spencer's bumper. They made a whole host of changes on that last stop. They changed the air pressure in every tire. They also made a track bar adjustment, hoping to loosen him up just a little bit. Now, what Dale Jr. has done on the racetrack is he has found a line that he likes. It's not the lower groove. It's not the higher groove. It's about a half lane up as he fights Jimmy Spencer going down the front. He likes that half-groove lane right in the middle to Matt Yoakum.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. just took away the 4th position from Kevin Harvick. Harvick says his car is good, but he still cannot pass even after that air pressure adjustment in the right rear. Back in May, he finished 7th, 1 lap down. He said when he came back here, he wanted to improve on that because this race had his number. Also, Tony Stewart is riding in 6th. Wally Dallenbach was right. After about 15 or 20 laps, the 20 of Stewart really seems to come in. The problem for Stewart right now, though, is he's got radio trouble. They've gone back and forth between their first and second radio, but the team is having a huge difficulty hearing Stewart. A lot of noise on the radio to Marty.
Get back to Marty in just a second. How about that wiggle for Dale Jr. off turn 4 last lap?
Dale Jr.'s really loose. I'm just trying to see if he still has the same problem he had earlier, which was being tight first and making the car loose. That what it looks like, UBP. Looks like he's got the car turning, and it's really leaning over, getting off the turn.
And like we kept talking about, when you get off the turn and those front tires catch hold of the racetrack and stop sliding, then the back end wants to jump out from under the car.
He did a great job to save that thing. Let's go back, take another look at it. This is 2 laps ago now, off of turn 4.
Back and forth, that slide.
And that doesn't look big, but believe me, folks, from inside that car, that was big.
This is the race for 3rd.
These guys, when we see these fellas try to make the pass, off 2 is where they really have the trouble. When they get on the inside, like Jimmy Spencer, here comes Junior on the inside of Spencer. Turn 2 is where he's going to really have his problem getting off that corner. This time Spencer backed off and let Junior go.
So Junior 3rd, Spencer back to 4th, in front of Harvick 5th, and Stewart 6th. Ward Burton is your 7th place runner. Marty?
And Ward was tight on that last run. Allen coming off the big win in the Southern 500, having a very solid performance. Right now, as you said, in 7th place. They took 2 rounds of wedge out of the left rear, trying to tighten up Ward Burton. The car that Ward is driving tonight is not the car that was supposed to be here. They built a brand new car to come to Richmond. They tested it Wednesday. Ward didn't like it. They brought their same old car back. Bill Weber.
Johnny Benson currently running 8th on the racetrack. Had an eventful Friday, lost their primary car here in a wicked crash, but the team has worked hard to keep Benson in contention here at Richmond this weekend. Johnny said they've been the best car he feels in 1 and 2. Right now, they're just being patient as we cross the halfway mark in this race. 15.31 for Benson's crew and the Valvoline bunch on their last pit stop, so Johnny Benson trying to take a backup car to victory lane. Behind him on the racetrack in the running order is Terry Labonte. 10th 2 weeks ago at Bristol, 11th last week at Darlington. Maybe not big numbers, but they are in for Terry Labonte. A very frustrating season for the entire Kellogg's crew. But coming back tonight, also carrying one of the Looney Tunes characters on board, trying to inspire the entire team with the antics of the Roadrunner. That's what Terry would like to be tonight and run away from everybody. The last time Terry Labonte had back-to-back top 10 finishes, Bristol and Texas in July of 2000. Marty?
And his brother Bobby Labonte is running 11th on the track. Terry just passed him. Bobby has been loose everywhere all night long. He has a problem also with the brakes, just a little bit of a problem. When he goes and hits the brake into the corner, he feels a vibration in the front. It's nothing too significant, but still a little bit of concern for Bobby Labonte. Now, normally some teams might be able to help that out with a brake bias. We've talked about that a lot, a dial that the driver can turn to add more front brake or more rear brake. Bobby Labonte does not run one of those dials. He has not run one for about 2 years now, so he cannot fix that problem inside the race car and cannot help those vibrating brakes. To Matt Yoakum.
Kyle Petty has climbed from 36th to 11th. I spoke with his crew chief, Chris Hussey. He said Kyle's not said anything on the radio about the car tonight. And usually when Kyle doesn't talk, that means the car is very good. Still no adjustments on this 45 car. Tonight he picked up his first career win here in 1986 on the old track configuration. He's never won a race in Winston Cup for Petty Enterprises. Maybe that will come tonight. But right now he's on par for his best finish of the season, Marty.
Jeff Burton having a very solid run on the racetrack. They were very upset after that last pit stop with Jeff Gordon's team. Frank Stoddard, the crew chief for Jeff Burton, came off the toolbox and went and asked Robbie Loomis, the crew chief for Jeff Gordon, are you going to pit under this caution? Robbie Loomis said no. So Jeff Burton in his pit stall, he's pitted right behind Jeff Gordon, pitted very far forward in his pit stall. Then Jeff Gordon came down pit road, blocked them in. They lost a lot of spots on pit road, but now they're gaining them back on the racetrack. Dave Burns.
Instead of gaining, Ken Schrader's team may be losing. Alan alluded to early in the program how they had worked on getting through the middle of the corner with a shock absorber change that they made in yesterday's final practice. Well, it's gotten tight in the center again, and the team has had to rethink how they're going to adjust on Schrader to get him through this race. Right now, his winless drought is way up to 328, and they would like to break that tonight. Alan?
Schrader trying to fend off Jerry Nadeau for the 13th place. Nadeau started 39th. Worked his way up quietly but nicely through the field.
Oh, almost gets in the back of the 36 car. I talked to Tony Furr, the crew chief on the 25 car, and they said they really did not get a lot of practice in the 25 car. So basically the setup they have in this car is the same thing that Jeff Gordon had in his. And they thought they would adjust it to Jerry's style as the race progressed.
And you want to talk about someone who's gone no place tonight. Whoa, little contact there. Dale Jarrett started 16th. He's running 15th, and we're just past halfway in this race. Here's Dale.
You know, I want to go back and mention about Bobby Labonte. Said he's got a little bit of a vibration. And that possibly what I talked about earlier, when they get the brakes real hot, they spike that temperature. Sometimes that buildup you'll get a bunch of material on the rotor, and that rotor will vibrate because of that. And that could be a possibility of what Bobby Labonte's going through right now.
6 drivers in the garage area. Liz is with one of them now.
Matt, you were running not really good early on, but then you started coming around. What happened out there?
Well, we were really struggling tonight with our dual tours. We just really missed the setup tonight. And as far as the wreck, I'm not really sure. Hornaday was involved, so I imagine he ran in the side of somebody and spun out, and I couldn't get out of the way. So just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Still working on your car, so you're going to try to get back out there?
Yeah, I think we'll get it back out. It's mostly suspension damage, so we'll just go and ride around for the rest of the night and make the best we can out of it.
And they will make the best of it. Alan?
Well, there you have it.
Yeah. Rusty Wallace is your leader. We're just past halfway. 219 of 400 completed. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. All right, EJ, a little down under lingo lesson. Of course, I've been to Australia. BP, you need to figure out some of those down under terms.
Oh, yeah, like grill on the Barbie.
Yeah.
Shrimp on the Barbie.
You're way off base. Goodwill Games from Brisbane, Australia, following the race here on TNT. Hope you'll stay with us. No, like walkabout. You know what a walkabout is?
No.
Okay.
I do know that the 28 car all of a sudden is very close to the 2 car.
NASCAR on TNT from the Richmond International Raceway. Coverage of the race for the championship continuing with the Chevy Monte Carlo 400. Just past halfway in the race. Big story of the night tonight. Jeff Gordon, the championship leader, hit by Sterling Marlin, racing for 3rd position at lap 35. He spent 107 laps in the garage getting repairs. He's out on the track now, 114 laps down in 41st place. Ricky Rudd's running 2nd. 342 points up on Rudd in the championship. Stands to lose 100 and change of that tonight if Rudd is able to stay up there and have a good top 5 finish.
On board with Jeff Gordon as he goes down into turn 1 at Richmond. You see right now, points were awarded for positions right now. Ricky Rudd only 212 back.
From 342.
But we're not going to award him now. We got to finish this race. These guys are still racing. Talking about Kenny Schrader, the 36, Jay Nadeau, the 25.
You know what the problem for them is? Two other cars have passed him since we saw them last.
Oh.
Dale Jarrett's gone by into 13th, Robert Presley into 14th, and now these two are racing for 15th.
Can I see a puff of smoke out of Schrader's car?
I hope not. That wouldn't be good for him, would it?
No, it wouldn't. Usually where there's smoke, there's trouble.
That's very profound of you.
I'm not seeing anything now, so maybe I just did not see what I thought I saw.
I saw smoke, Benny.
Oh, good.
You sound like Tweety Bird there. You didn't think what you thought you saw?
Yeah.
Well, it may have been a little, I don't know if it was contact, maybe. Contact smoke.
Okay, they've been side by side for about 20 of the last 30 laps. Are they having fun or are they getting frustrated?
I just want to hit him. I mean, that's what you're feeling. 25's going, man, I need to just bump him out of the way. But I know everybody's watching right now, so in the meantime, here comes Bobby Hamilton trying to slip underneath.
He doesn't know everybody's watching. But it would be bad timing.
It would be real bad. But it is frustrating because these two cars they look like they're so equal right now, but they need the same racetrack to be fast. So that's what's making it so difficult. The 25 cannot get up off the corner on the low side.
Oh, there we go.
There's that little temper I was looking for, VP.
That was a slide job.
I just want to hit him, that's all.
15th place for Nadeau, looking down on Richmond from our U.S. Army Skycam. United States Army being Army 1. Got a car scraping the wall up in turns 1 and 2. It is Daffy Duck.
He might have a tire down.
Jeff Green, right front.
And
the other one's up there.
He's got a tire down. That could have been after hitting the wall, of course, but
8th caution of the race. And Rusty Wallace comes back and brings the field to the yellow flag. We'll see some pit stops when we come back in a minute. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Back at the Richmond International Raceway under caution in the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes for the 8th time in the race. This one coming out with Jeff Green and Rick Mast at the same time, but separately. Got into the wall in turn 1. Pit stops under the caution a moment ago.
Rusty Wallace is leaving the pits. We see him, the 28 car right behind him. Then comes the 8, the 26, 29, 20. And after that, I'm not sure.
You're out of breath.
I'm out of breath.
Terry Labonte, then Ward Burton, Bobby Labonte, and Jeff Burton, then Kyle Petty. Let's get some reports on the stops, Bill.
Well, good stop for Rusty Wallace. They made a 1-pound air pressure adjustment. Rusty's still trying to find the same feel he had earlier in the race. Pit stop 14.02. Another good stop for the 2, Dave.
Bill, Ricky Rudd came in, but he was radioing to the crew that the car was a little bit tight getting into the corner, but he really didn't want to mess it up and make it too loose, so they made no adjustment to the 28 car. Marty?
Dave, a good stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team, 15.84 on the stop, a little bit tight from the middle off, but he said it was much better on that run than it was the run before. They went up 1 round on the track bar. He came in 3rd and out 3rd. We're getting ready to go green back out on the racetrack.
Martin again trying to get a lap back from leader Rusty Wallace, and again unsuccessful. Here comes Rudd for the lead, looking inside.
Like VP said earlier, this is the time to do it. This is the best your tires are going to be. So you really need to get this done in the next 8 or 9 laps where you got the best grip in your tires.
Here comes Ricky. He's looking on the inside, but Rusty gets that great run off too.
Mentioned that both Rick Mast and Jeff Green have taken their cars behind the wall after the damage from the flat tires we saw a minute ago.
Now does Ricky Rudd become offensive or defensive because he has Dale Earnhardt Jr. right behind him? Ricky Rudd short of just 0.15 of a second behind the leader. Earnhardt Jr. 0.4 of a second. Folks, you can see 0.4, now 0.3. It isn't much.
Cut slow.
Here goes Rudd.
He is doing everything he can to get down there. Here's where he's got the problem, getting the bite off the corner. And two-car just shoots out of there. Ricky will drive underneath him. Won't be able to get off the corner.
Now, the other player in this equation is Jeremy Mayfield in the 12 car. He's the first one a lap down. He's in 24th place. Obviously very fast at this point, but he's got to get around these leaders and catch a caution flag.
And here comes Junior on the outside of Ricky Rudd.
Todd Looney was off the pace on the backstretch a minute ago. He's gathered it back up and continued on.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes over that second spot. Jeremy Mayfield, the lap car between Junior and Ricky Rudd.
5th place. Harvick in the 29, Stewart in the 20, Ward Burton in the 22. Matt?
Ward Burton and Tony Stewart keep battling back and forth for that 6th position. Remember, Stewart is very good after about 15 or 18 laps. He was very fortunate on his pit stop. The 27 car was in. Stewart had to angle around him and had a bad position in his pit box. Fortunately, he didn't have to back up and lose even more time or lose spots. They made air pressure adjustments and both left side tires. They went a half a pound down and a half a round of wedge. He still needs forward bite.
Here it is, race lead. Both looking at the same thing there, BP. Junior's on the roll.
Now here's where Junior had the trouble earlier, was running down low and then getting sideways, getting up off the corner. That looked pretty good, that corner.
Junior has not led yet tonight. Started the race in 8th place.
I think that Dale Jr. wants to pass Rusty Wallace, but I don't think that he's going to try as hard as Ricky Rudd did, because I think that he realizes that Ricky Rudd tried so hard that right now he probably has built the air pressure up in the right front tire, and his car is not quite good. Rudd needs to calm down and run a few laps to let his car come back in.
That's the problem here with the 5 car. It looks like he's got some sparks coming off the side of that thing.
Exhaust pipe hanging out, maybe? Dragging on the ground?
Yep. You got it.
We've talked about how much Terry Labonte needs to have a good run. Black flag's up for him. Can't beat that.
I don't know if that tailpipe's going to make it around many more times. Oh, man, what a terrible, terrible break.
Running in 9th at the time of this trouble. That's too bad for Terry.
And it looks like the Junior's car just all of a sudden, just in a lap, slowed down about 2 miles per hour.
Already fallen a full second back of Rusty Wallace, and you can see the pressure Rudd is now putting on him for that runner-up spot.
Well, that lap, Junior's car was back up to speed, so I'm assuming last lap he had got sideways, pushed or something that caused him to lose that 3 or 4 mile per hour average.
There are where the drivers in the running for the Winston $1 million bonus are positioned in the race. Earnhardt Jr., Ward Burton, Bobby Labonte, all in the top 10. They've given away the money 10 times out of 18 tries that they've had these $1 million bonus races. So
he's got fluid coming out of there too, BP. See that dripping down there?
Bill Weber?
Oh
Well, Terry Labonte on pit road. They're going to look where the sparks were coming from. They had to answer the black flag from NASCAR. Terry very disappointed on the radio. They were hoping they'd be able to stay out and maybe catch a caution, but that didn't happen. This team cannot buy a break. Just when we were talking about how well things were going, they just had another good pit stop. They've got right side tires on Terry's car and send him back out, but lost valuable laps here on pit road under the green.
There's some kind of fluid coming out of the front of that car.
Terry Labonte has made contact with the outside wall, hasn't he?
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
All the scuff marks on the right side tires.
And all of a sudden, the 29 car is losing positions. Maybe he's trying to gain one, trying to pass Spencer, huh?
Yep, Spencer's in fourth, Harvick's fifth, Stewart's sixth. Harvick trying to move forward and see if he can get around Spencer. 2:56, complete of 400 here in Richmond. Rusty Wallace is your leader.
The Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes on TNT is brought to you by Casey Atwood and the Dew Crew. Fueled by Mountain Dew. By Pep Boys. All you need to know is where to go. Pep Boys. And by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there.
We're under caution in the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond. Terry Labonte's problems went from bad to worse. He's crashed in turn one. You see Terry is out of the car and walking away.
Let's take a look here. See, you got the pipes hanging here, but there's fluid. All the stuff coming off the pipe here. There's water. I don't know where that's coming from, but you can see right in here, all that water coming out. And there's quite a bit. Now, I don't know if he slipped in that when they went back out or the pipe came off.
Let's take a look at the crash and see what we can see. If you looked at the top of that frame.
Yeah, the pipe is up here.
Well, there's another piece of it, though. Something came out from under that car and he ran it over.
Yeah. Now, there's the fluid in the pit stall when they left.
I don't know what.
Any idea what that is, BP?
It looked like water.
If we get a chance to see that again, if you look right out behind the car, like right around the start-finish line, you're going to see something come flying up. Watch the car as it comes toward the start-finish line. You're going to see something come flying out just as the car turns sideways behind it.
Right,
see it right there. See
right there, yep.
Right there. Something's come out from behind the car, and he's run it over and cut the. See, there's the piece of metal coming down the center of the track right there.
Yeah.
Right up there. He's run over his own tailpipe, I think.
But then if you keep watching, right there, there's something big going up the racetrack there, which looks.
That is the tailpipe.
Yeah.
The part of the tailpipe or the other tailpipe.
Whatever. No good.
Yep. So, from a top 10 run to problems on pit road to out of the race after a crash for Terry Labonte, all in the matter of a couple of laps. Back at Richmond, under the caution flag, cleanup continues from Terry Labonte's crash down in turn one. Watch Kyle Petty's car here as he comes down the backstretch, guys.
Yeah, you see right here, something's going to fly right off the back of that wrecker. All that stuff. That looks like a brake hose.
Well, it looks like. Man, it didn't make a mess.
Just exploded out from under the car. Wow. Huh.
Or a seagull.
Well, you never say never, but I don't think so.
Probably not.
We'll come back to Richmond in a minute. They're still cleaning up from Terry Labonte's crash.
Why, boy, you spin me around.
Does Taz know how to say ouch?
Terry does.
Boy, he sure does. Cleaning up the caution from the Terry Labonte crash down in turn number one. The 9th yellow flag of the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. There's old Taz Harvick. 5th position. And let's go into the garage to Liz Allison.
Terry, you had a great run going out there. What happened?
Well, we did. Our Kellogg Chevy was running good tonight, and we were really good on long runs. I got into the wall a little bit coming down the front straightaway, and I knocked the tailpipe loose. We came in and bungee corded it up, and I guess it came loose and got under the right rear tire, and that was it. We're done for the night then.
Now, there were some reports that there was a lot of fluid. Would that be what that was coming from?
No, that came from after I spun and hit the wall. It broke something, I guess, but the tailpipe came off. That's what I think happened. I'm not sure. It felt like the tailpipe came off, got under the right rear tire.
But you're okay?
I'm fine, yeah, thanks.
All right, Alan.
That's too bad for Terry. Had a good night going. He is out, and we are back under the green flag. Jeremy Mayfield's first car a lap down in 23rd place.
And Jimmy Spencer reports that he has trouble with his third gear, losing spots on the restart because of that.
Yeah, it's no third gear at all now on the 26. No third gear, and when one leaves, sometimes the others follow.
Challenge for the lead. Dale Jr. going to try Rusty again. Not this time. Got a little hello from Mayfield on the back bumper, too.
Trying to get on the inside of Stacy Compton.
These guys are racing for a spot, but they're both a lap down. Compton's 24th, Busch is 25th, Mark Martin in the 6th is 26th. Oh, Mayfield up the hill. Drops him back into a race for position with the 97 and 90. Those cars a lap down. Mayfield's got some big problems.
Yeah, he really slowed down there, getting off the, really stacked him up behind him. He's got a tire going down or something.
So he'll be heading for pit road next time by. Whatever it is.
Looks like the tires are up.
I don't know. We'll find out. But Jeremy Mayfield off the pace and in trouble. Matt, what is it?
He just reported into his crew chief, Peter Suspenzo. He does have a tire going down. The 12 car coming into his pit. This team just cannot seem to find luck anywhere. Last week at Darlington, 2 laps ago, had a shot for a win. Misfortune, they're going to change all 4. It looks like the tires are up on the right side and the left, so we're going to have to check the pressures. And he's finally down and away. More tough luck for Mayfield.
Don't know.
He obviously had a grip problem there, getting into 3.
Rusty Wallace holding off Dale Jr. again. Seems like if Rusty can hold him off for the first few laps after a restart, at least at this stage of the race, he's able to get away. Jr. second, Rudd third, Harvick fourth, Stewart fifth. Spencer's back to 6th. And you've got Ward Burton, Bobby Labonte, Kyle Petty, and now Dale Jarrett into the top 10. Marty?
Well, you're exactly right, Alan. On the restarts, Dale Earnhardt Jr. tries to get the lead from Rusty Wallace. They want to get the bonus points for leading a lap tonight. They are fighting to get up in the top 5 in points. They are currently 7th, but very close to Bobby Labonte in the point standing. So they do want to lead a lap. Up there, and then a spotter, Ty Norris, will tell him back off because the rotors are getting too hot. Don't push it too hard. We can lead a lap later.
The way Rusty Wallace is running, that might be a little tougher than they think it's going to be, leading the lap later.
You guys, Matt tells us from pit road it was the right rear tire that was down on Mayfield's car. It's left Mayfield 3 laps down in 29th place. Tire on the right rear. That's too bad. We're going to follow up on on Jeff Green and Rick Mast, who went to the garage area, both on the same lap with right fronts down and damage to their machines. A phrase we heard a lot in the garage leading up to this race, brake heat. How it'll affect the tires.
I think you hit on it earlier. We talked about they get so much heat built up in the rotors that it melts the bead, especially on the right front wheel. And what happens is it smelts a bead, the tire goes down, and you go flying up into the wall.
That always is a problem in a racetrack where you use a lot of Martinsville, Phoenix.
And if you're not familiar with the term, the bead on a tire is the point at which the tire seals to the rim. Makes that airtight lock, if you will.
And that's only about an inch from a hot rotor, brake rotor. If you really use brakes, like Ty Norris told Junior a moment ago, he's standing down in turn one. He watches the car go in a corner from his spotting position. Those rotors getting cherry red. He tells Junior, back off a little bit because you're overheating the brakes.
And Richmond, you really have to run a lot of front brake because he's like going into turn one. It's such a big, wide arc. If you put too much rear brake in it, the car gets sideways real easy as you're arcing down into turn one. So normally you have to run a little bit more front brake than you would at a place like Martinsville where you go straight into the corner more than you do here going into turn one at Richmond.
Still got 22 cars on the lead lap and 115 laps to go. Right now, Rusty Wallace is out in front. Can he get his 7th Richmond win tonight?
We pitted Castrol Syntec 10.
Richmond International Raceway, where NASCAR on TNT is bringing you the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. Log on to NASCAR.com and play the Autotrader.com Move of the Race sweepstakes for your chance to win a $25,000 shopping spree on Autotrader.com and other great prizes.
I vote for Benny getting from the war wagon to the booth in 10 minutes.
You know, we need to do one of those documentaries one week where we have the camera follow him making his sprint. You know, that they do the thing with the guys, the track and field guys, and they're running in slow motion, and here comes Benny just leaping up the grandstand steps.
I watched the whole thing.
I think we'd call it a brisk walk. I don't think we'd call it a sprint.
I was thinking more of a meander.
Yeah, well, that too.
Second place, still a good fight. Dale Jr., Ricky Rudd, Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart.
Here comes Happy Harvick on the inside of Rudd. Well, that inside just hard to get some grip down there.
It sure is.
Why is the question? Why is it that way on this racetrack?
Well, I mean, you can get the grip down there, but you just can't do it and run low getting off the corner.
When they start running some laps and these tires get nice and hot, when you down low, the car starts sliding across that asphalt, and you just cannot get on the throttle quick enough, otherwise the car will push directly into the wall.
Tony Stewart still has not led yet tonight. Said his goal was to be in the lead by lap 150. Hey, Tony, it's 295 now. Better get going. Bill Elliott trying to move through Robert Presley and take the 11th spot away. And does. On that last caution flag, most all of the leaders stayed on the track, but a handful did pit. Elliott was one of them. Elliott, Joe Nemechek, Johnny Benson, Ricky Craven, Dave Blaney, Todd Bodine, and Jeff Burton are the cars who are on the lead lap who pitted. So you're watching Benson and Nemechek and Elliott here on fresher tires try to work their way through some guys who stayed out last time. Farthest forward, well, hang on back to that. First, this news flash. Tony Stewart is through. That's 4th place. Just going to say the farthest forward of the guys who pitted on that last caution is Jeff Burton in the 99 car. He's running in 10th right now. There's Jeff.
As he
tries his best to chase down the 88 car of Dale Jarrett, who's trying to chase down the 22 of Ward Burton at 8th and 9th. Dave, what about the 88 car?
Well, Benny, they'd be ecstatic with a 9th place finish anywhere in the top 10. They've been chasing that car literally all day long. We talk about, little adjustments here and little adjustments there. They've gone over 8 pounds of air adjustment, over more than 5 rounds of wedge on the car. They've moved the track bar more than an inch tonight, trying to get that car to stop being loose. It's running the best it has all night, and they've been telling DJ, oh, by the way, just keep in mind, you passed more cars than anybody else tonight. They keep going back, they keep going forward, and now the car is the best it's been.
And that's what makes a championship team.
Ricky Rudd trying his best to put some heat on Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car.
Little check up on the gas there, huh?
Yeah, he's probably tight getting off. He had to just get off the gas just a little bit to get that front grip.
I heard him into the rev limiter, too, on the front side.
Yeah, you did. You did. Going down into turn 3, he was on the rev limiter. Let's listen. Oh, this is down the straightaway. Yep, he's in it going into 1, too.
And that rev limiter on these cars, the engine builders are telling me, are set at 9,200 tonight.
And an easy thing to do here is overdrive. Get into the corner way too deep, and the rev limiter helps you not drive that far into the corner. Roll it in.
Can Rudd get that grip on the bottom of the racetrack? My guess would be no.
Hasn't been able to all night. Rudd has been under people and under people and under people, but every time he comes off of turn number 2 on the bottom side of somebody, he can't stay with him. Side by side, briefly, Stewart close it in.
And check that out, last lap, Tony Stewart was the fastest car in the top 10. Dave?
Well, Benny, Allen referred to Ricky Rudd not being able to turn. He has the same problem that I reported on earlier. He'll get into the turn, he'll start to turn it, and then it will start to snap loose on him. And so he's very cautious when he gets down on the bottom.
I think Earnhardt got a little bit loose up off a 2, and they had to check up a little bit, and Ricky checked up in a 20, just filled that hole down on the bottom.
Now they've got a slow car as they come off the corner. Buckshot Jones right in front of these 3.
And he bails, gets out of the way.
Still there, still there.
Talk a lot, it seems like, in the last month or so about Tony Stewart's car being better on the long runs. We've run 37 laps since the restart.
Look at how red the rotors are on Tony Stewart's car. He's got the front brake, he's working.
Still down there.
Watch when we go down in the corner.
Clear, all clear.
Yeah, couldn't see him there.
He's going to have to give it up. He can't underrun either off that corner. He had to give it up.
And you have to. If you just stay down there, you're just abusing your tires. And you're going to just finally get that right front so hot, you get into that danger area of possibly going to, talking what we did on the brakes, getting that right front hot and right front tire backing down.
Closing in, final segment of the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond on TNT. Next weekend, our coverage of NASCAR continues from the New Hampshire International Speedway, beginning Friday with Bud Pole qualifying on CNN Sports Illustrated at 3 Eastern Time. Saturday, happy hour, 11 in the morning on CNNSI. Then Saturday afternoon, the NASCAR Busch North Series from New Hampshire on NBC at 2 Eastern, and the New Hampshire 300 1 week from tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern Time on NBC. Dale Jr. sliding back. He's about to lose his 3rd position in the last few laps, guys.
Well, for some reason, I guess Jr. felt like his car was really going away because a few laps ago he just moved over and let the 28 and 20 go by. Marty, what are they saying down there?
Well, you got that one right, BP. He is tight right now and having his hand full out there. No grip off the corners either, so really tight right now. He's letting all these guys go by so he can get some clean racetrack is what he's looking for.
Let's go back and take a look at what Benny was talking about a second ago.
He comes off turn 2 and just pulls over to the inside. Lets Ricky Rudd and Tony Stewart. And look at those brake rotors on Stewart's car.
That is the Mark Martin move that we've seen Mark make so many times. For now, Junior hanging on. Harvick not able to finish that pass. Dale Jr. in 4th behind Rusty Wallace, your leader, with 81 laps to go. Rusty Wallace leads the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes at 77 laps to go. Wallace has been out in for 222 of the 322 that have been run so far tonight. And on the move at this point in the race, though, is that driver, Jeff Burton.
Where did he restart after he changed 4 tires back in 15?
Back at lap number 269. And now at 323. He's picked his way to 5th.
I guess it was 13th, but he has picked up 8 spots against some awful fast race cars.
Marty?
And these guys are on the momentum of 2 top 10s in the last 4 races, Alan. They tried this strategy earlier in the race, coming down pit road when no one else did, putting on fresh tires. It worked then. It's working now. They've been fighting loose and tight all night long, but on the run before this one, the car was just the best it's been all night long. They had finally gotten it right, and it is outstanding right now. They're really coming up to the field. And again, like we said at the beginning of the race, just now his car is starting to come in. That's the scary part. He is very fast, consistently the fastest car out on the racetrack right now.
And Wally, he is running the bottom of the racetrack.
And that's going to make it a lot easier to pass because everybody's running up high.
Working on Dale Jr. for 4th.
There's Kenny Wallace in the 1 car. Has just gone a lap down. He's back in the 22nd position.
Well, that held up Burton there just for a minute. Certainly wish the best to Steve Park, at home recovering from the injuries from the Darlington accident of a week ago. Pennzoil team issuing a statement on Friday that it will be conservatively 4 to 6 weeks for Steve to be out of that car. But considering the injury that he's got, that's a good thing. He needs to be smart enough, and will be smart enough, I hope, to take the rest and make sure it's healed completely. All you got to do is ask Ricky Craven about that.
I agree with you, Alan. There's no reason to push it. You want to come back, 100%.
Ricky, of course, spent over a year out of a race car after multiple concussions, and he'll be the first to tell you. In fact, he told us here earlier this weekend, trying to come back too soon hurt more than it helped, and he hopes Steve will keep that in mind.
It's not life-threatening, but, you know, getting back in the car might be, and it's, I'm proud of Steve. I tell you what, he is smarter than I was back in 1997 when I had 3 concussions in 3 weeks. And it got me in a mess, and I just think he's just doing a very wise thing, and I commend him.
And that's from somebody that's been there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sign inside the car. Steve, keep digging. We miss you. There it is right there.
Is he planting the garden?
That from you. That was Wally.
You expected that.
What am I going to do with you? Get well, Steve.
All of a sudden, Jeff Burton is running across some faster race cars, much faster cars, and he's struggling to get by. He finally clears Junior and moves into the 5th position, back up to 4th position.
Ken Schrader just put a lap down. He's in 21st place.
Junior doing everything he can to get that car off the corner. He is really sliding that thing.
Leader caught some lap traffic. It's allowed 2nd and 3rd to catch him.
Rush is going under and Ricky Rudd would love to pass on the outside, but I don't think it's going to be able to. Nope.
Todd Bodine was the last one on the lead lap. He's in 20th place. Ward Burton's on pit road. Marty?
Here's Tony Stewart.
And he's fallen all the way back to 16th right now. He said the car is just terrible. They are extremely tight. They do make an air pressure adjustment. They were also contemplating a wedge adjustment on Ward Burton's car. They're going to take 4 tires and very, very tight right now for the Caterpillar Dodge.
What about this with Stewart and Rudd?
These guys are battling hard. I thought Tony had him cleared back on the backstretch, but Ricky Rudd somehow fought back and he's still there. Those two guys got together back there a little bit ago, and I didn't think they were going to get separated.
Start banging those tires together like that, you can knock the front end out of alignment, really affect the handling of your car, and you've still got 64 laps to go.
Or puncture a tire like we saw happen to John Andretti just a few laps into the race.
Yep. So while they got messing around with each other, Rusty Wallace got back away from them. NASCAR sending a message down from the control tower to both the 20 and 28 pits that there would still be a lot of racing left to go. Leaders last pitted at lap 235. It's been 101 laps since they stopped, so if no caution comes out soon, we'll see him on pit road under the green. Rusty Wallace is the leader in the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond. 57 laps to go, and green flag pit stops in just a few more laps. Now let's take a look at NYPD Blue weeknights at 6 on TNT. Every weeknight at 6 on TNT. Not going to be green flag pit stops.
BP, that could be another right front going down. What do you think?
Sure looks like exactly the same thing. We've seen 3 or 4 of these tonight.
Mike Skinner.
And Yosemite Sam has hit the wall.
Looney Tune guys had problems tonight.
Had a hard time tonight.
Just joining us or haven't been with us the whole night, Jeff Gordon involved in an accident, racing for third with Sterling Marlin at lap 35. Gordon is in 38th place, 116 laps down.
Gordon's got it right front down, too.
Yep. Now, here come the leaders to pit road. Could be the final stops of the night. How about the pressure on the pit crews? Got to get it done now, Matt.
The caution came at a great time for Tony Stewart. He was going to pit in 3 more laps. He said he needs help up off the corner and a turn in the center. They went up a half a pound in the left rear to Bill.
Pound up on the right rear for Rusty Wallace. Remember, he said we don't want to go down on air pressures late in the race because it's so late they go up on the right rear. Dave?
Once again, no changes for Ricky Rudd. He said to look at the left front fender, not because he thought it was a problem, but so the boys wouldn't have trouble getting the left front tire on. Marty.
Jeff Burton wanted a little more grip off of the corners. They went up quarter pound in both rear tires, and a very long pit stop. They lose a lot of track position on pit road.
Hollywood is upset. Evidently, he had some trouble with the front tires on that 99 car, and you can see the entire crew. They had a really good car. They had moved into the 3rd position, and they lost a lot of time on pit road.
Rusty Wallace wins the race off the pit lane. Ricky Rudd is 2nd, Kevin Harvick 3rd, Dale Jr. 4th, then Tony Stewart 5th. Dale Jarrett gets out 6th, followed by Jeff Burton, Bobby Labonte, Johnny Benson, and Bill Elliott. Let's go take a look at what happened to Mike Skinner that brought out the caution flag.
Well, he hit the wall.
Not conclusive evidence.
No.
But,
can't help you there.
It had already happened. What happened had already happened. And we see Tony Shoemaker arguing with the officials. The officials said, okay, get back on the other side. There's three officials down there. What's that all about?
Spencer was held for a penalty on pit road, and the crew obviously arguing the decision. We will follow up on what the assessment of the penalty was, the reason for their displeasure, in just a moment. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
celebrating by Team Monte Carlo.
Now, the first thing you've got to do is jump up here and scream and yell, "Woo!" Make sure your hat guy forms them first, so you don't end up looking like a dork. Now, when somebody hands you one of these babies, make sure you say thank you. Thank you. Oh, man. Don't eat the check.
Want to be like Jeff Gordon? Drive the Chevy Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there.
Back at Richmond International Raceway, still under caution in the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. And Jimmy Spencer penalized for this infraction, the back line of his pit box.
Right there. They're saying that the rear of his car was behind that line, and that's a pit infraction. But, you know, that's a tough angle, but I say boo.
It's pitting outside the box, and that is a one-lap penalty. But they've just reversed the call. They've just allowed Spencer to pass the pace car, make up the lap that he was penalized, and he's back on the lead lap.
A very good call.
I will have to go with that then.
Upon further review,
common sense prevailed.
There you go.
Because there was no one behind Jimmy Spencer. The 5 car, Terry Labonte, that was his pit stall. He's out of the race. They're packed up. They're gone. He was not impeding anyone's progress as they tried to leave their pit.
So Spencer in 18th place, last car on the lead lap. Still under caution, cleaning up with 50 to go here in Richmond, and Wallace leading.
Looney Tunes cast is out in full force tonight. To order these die-cast collectibles, call 1-877-780-RACE. Log on to NASCAR.com or enter America Online keyword NASCAR and select the store now.
Only one left. Who wants the last Frost Brew Coors Light? Here, man.
Well, close one.
Close. The beer man is going to have to consult the instant replay.
Back at the Richmond International Raceway, field getting the signal in one more lap. We go back racing in the Chevy Monte Carlo 400. Jimmy Spencer allowed to pass the pace car, make up the one-lap penalty. Now you see him sliding forward in line. He came down pit road in 9th position, and they're going to place him up in line behind Bill Elliott in front of Ricky Craven in the 11th spot for the restart.
Well, I think that's a good call.
I'm down here on pit road with crew chief Donnie Wingo. I know you really don't want to talk right now. They claimed you were out of the box. They put you back on the lead lap and put you in 9th. You okay?
Yeah, but I mean, we still lost about 3 more spots from probably, or 4. I mean, our pit stop's been great all night, but, you know, I guess we'll have to take what we get right now. You know, they admitted they made a mistake, and, you know, they got a green flag, green flag.
Back underway, Ward Burton in the 22 car is on the tail end of the lead lap in front of Rusty, the race leader. Ward had pitted under the green flag, then the caution came out, trapping him a lap down. He stayed on track when the other front runners pitted. That's how he got to be first behind the pace car. Robert Presley had a little loop down the front stretch, but he's continued on.
Ricky Rudd is hoping that he can use some of these lap cars. Kyle Petty, Warren Burton, some of these cars to be able to get by Rusty Wallace. He's hoping Rusty will go high, he'll go low, or vice versa.
You don't think they're thinking anything about that bump a few weeks ago, do you?
At Bristol?
Yeah. Well, he's right on that bumper. Right on it.
If you're not familiar with what we're talking about at Bristol, on the last lap, these 2 cars, the 2 and 28, the 28 got in the back of the 2 going in the 3rd corner on the last lap, kind of pushed him up the hill, took the spot away. What was it, 3rd or 4th?
Yep. Fourth spot, yep. Showed it to you in our pre-race show. Also talked about in our pre-race show, how wild was it going to get tonight? We're down to wild time. 42 to go.
Oh, the 1 car got way high up in turn 2. Might have got a little bit of attack.
Kenny Wallace kept it off the wall, though. He continues. He's back in 22nd place, a lap down. Well, we've seen this movie before. First few laps after a restart, but pressures Rusty. He can't get by right away, and he hasn't succeeded yet.
Takes Rusty 10 to 12 laps, Alan. 10 to 12 laps, and that's why they went up on the air pressure, trying to cut that time in half here this late in the race.
Trouble down the front stretch. Dave Blaney has been spun into the trialable grass, comes back up onto the surface, but nobody gets into him. Caution's out. 11th one of the race.
And Ward Burton's going to get his lap back.
Oh, look out. Went screaming down there by where Dave Blaney's car sits, trying to get Wallace. Blaney's car was sitting there in that cloud of smoke. No fire in the engine there for Blaney. No power.
A lot of damage to that left rear on his car.
Oh, now he's got it fired up. Let's take a look.
It looks like he got hit by, is that Bill Elliott or Casey Atwood?
His Bill was right behind him.
Yeah, it's a 93 car. It looked like it checked up because of Stacy Compton getting out of shape here.
Yeah, and Bill's got a lot of damage on the right front of his car.
The 97 car hits the wall. I think that's what started all of it.
Yep, and there's Stacy in the back. Gets out of shape, and
Elliott through Blaney. See the damage on Elliott's car.
Yeah, a lot of damage on the right front.
Ward Burton does get a lap back. He's on pit road for fresh tires along with Elliott, Benson, and a couple of other lead lap cars.
The Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes on TNT is brought to you by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there. By Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. And by Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you.
Less than a lap from the restart here at the Richmond International Raceway. Those who pitted on the lead lap: Johnny Benson, Bobby Hamilton, Robert Presley, Ward Burton, Bill Elliott, Jerry Nadeau. Those are the lead lap cars that pitted. Farthest up of them in the running order would be Benson, and he's going to restart in 12th.
Green, green, green.
And 35 laps to go to decide, can Rusty Wallace hold off Ricky Rudd? Or all the rest of them, for that matter.
See if those new tires come into play for Benson and the other guys.
But like we talked about earlier in the show, location, location. Is he too far back to get up there fast enough to work through that traffic in only 30-some laps?
Kevin Harvick looking for second on Ricky Rudd. Not yet. Dave, Ricky Rudd has been shadowing Rusty Wallace all night, but he just can't get the lead.
And the problem, Alan, is that where Bill reported that Rusty's car comes in after a few laps, Ricky's car pretty much has what it has right now, according to Michael McSwain. He said we're good for the entire run. Our car doesn't really improve over time. I guess they can only wish from here.
And the caution flag is out.
Debris has just fallen off the Bill Elliott car. Caution number 12.
Wow, a lot more may.
You see the damage from the earlier accident has been magnified now that Elliott's gotten back up to speed with that Dodge. Back in a minute.
Wrangler presents Families of NASCAR. The Petty family has enjoyed success at almost every track, and Richmond International Raceway is no exception. Lee Petty won the Richmond 300 in 1960. A year later, the King began his Richmond reign. Richard Petty took the checkered flag 13 times in 15 years. 21 years later, it was another Petty's turn. Kyle Petty won the spring race here in 1986. For more on the Wrangler families of NASCAR, go online to NASCAR.com. And it has certainly been a frustrating and at times disappointing season for Kyle Petty. It looked like tonight maybe his first top 10 since April of last year at Talladega. But just a few minutes ago, he pitted under the green, lost a couple of laps, then the caution came out. Kyle continues to be determined to be successful as a driver, also running the operation at Petty Enterprises. Also, you have to keep in mind he's pointing toward a big race later this month in Kansas City, the home of Sprint. Kyle Petty looking to get back to victory lane, but a strong run here tonight was taken out of play by the caution flag. Alan?
Yeah, Bill, Kyle trapped in 26th place now. The first car, the only car, in fact, 2 laps down. That's too bad for him. 1 to go. Here's the signal now. The caution came out from Bill Elliott's car. This is Jeff Gordon's view.
Watch this as pieces start flying off. And I don't know what those pieces are. I just hope that they won't puncture a tire, because that's not the drama that Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, those guys worrying about debris and puncturing a tire.
Johnny Benson, the first car who took fresh tires under that last caution, is in 10th place now. And we're going to get the restart with 27 laps to go. Rusty Wallace really laying back his car. Look at that. Rudd's got to try and get him quick. The longer they go, the better Wallace gets over Rudd. Here comes Harvick for second. Got to be careful here. Jeff Gordon is well down in the field. He's in 36th place, 117 laps down. A second place finish is going to be a good points night for the championship for Ricky Rudd. He can't take a chance on getting taken out by the rookie behind him trying to get a spot.
And I don't think that Ricky Rudd realizes just how good this 29 car is right now. I think this is by far the best that Harvick has been all night long.
Down on Richmond from our U.S. Army Skycam. There are 212 ways to be a soldier. Find out more at GoArmy.com.
Oh, Rusty
Wallace is down.
Oh.
Rusty Wallace is out of that hot to the lead. Here comes Harvick underneath.
Ricky's got something hanging off the, looks like the rear of the car.
Wallace is
I think that's where Harvick made contact with the back bumper of the 28 car.
Hanging right there. Little piece of metal.
Let's take a look at what happened that knocked Rusty Wallace out of the lead that he's held for so long.
Ricky. He got loose. I mean, Rusty got loose on his own there. Ricky did not lay a fender on Rusty on that deal. He was close enough underneath the rear of the car where it probably took a little bit of air off. But I don't know, BP, did you see any contact there while it was happening?
I don't know. It was very, very close. I think you're right. I think Rusty got a little bit sideways as he got off the corner, which I think maybe allowed the 28 car to close up faster than he was going to, but whether or not there was contact or not, I couldn't tell.
I think the contact that came was after he was lifted off the gas to get control of his car, and if anything, Ricky nipped him there. If anything. So, the man who's led 276 laps of this race is back in fourth. And now with 18 laps to go, Kevin Harvick trying to get the lead on Ricky Rudd. Tony Stewart just got punted up onto the groove a lap ago by Jeff Burton. Stewart has fallen back to 9th place.
Harvick's car, where did he come from? This is by far the best his car has been all night. And these turns Ricky Rudd sideways off. And how did Rudd save that car?
That is a save right there. Man.
Here comes Dale Jr. on Rudd for second as Harvick takes the lead. Short track wildness has set in the late laps in Richmond. Going to be some hot tempers after this one. Kevin Harvick looking for his 3rd win of his rookie season.
And here we have Dale Earnhardt Jr.
15 to go.
15 laps to go. If he could get to the front, pick up $1 million bonus. Tell you what, might not be enough time for Kevin Harvick to get away.
How did Rudd save that car?
I don't know.
But I know he wants to get back up on the bumper of that 29 car real bad.
Let's go take a look at how Kevin Harvick got the lead.
Off turn 2.
Now it happened the same. That's exactly what happened to Rusty. It looked like Ricky had already started getting loose up off of 2. Watch, see if there's any contact here. Rusty gets loose. Boy, that's close.
If any, barely.
But Rusty was already very loose at that point.
Rusty beginning to feel some pressure from Dale Jarrett, who's closing in on him to try and get 4th spot away. DJ sneaking up into 5th. Can Rudd get... Oh, Harvick's loose off 2.
That's what I'm saying. These guys are getting real loose off of 2. And what makes it worse...
Oh, Rudd took a run at him and he missed. I think he took a run into the corner, deep bottom, and he missed.
When you get loose off the corner like that, and you got another car right underneath your bumper, he's taking the air off your spoiler, and that even makes it worse.
There's Jarrett. Bobby Labonte closing in on Rusty Wallace. 11 laps to go.
Now this is a little bit of drama.
Kevin Harvick started in 22nd place tonight. First laps he led all night have been the last 7. Rusty Wallace in 4th.
And Ricky Rudd is not giving up.
Not much lap traffic going to come into play over the final 9 laps. There is one slower car ahead of the leaders, Casey Atwood. Other than that, clean racetrack. 4th place. Dale Jarrett trying to turn around what has been a dismal 5 or 6 weeks for him.
Be a big points day here for the Yates team.
I think if Dale Jarrett, with the way his night has gone, will be thrilled to death with a 4th place finish.
Remember Jeff Gordon involved in a crash back at lap 35. He's 117 laps down in 36th place. Sterling Marlin, 3rd in points, also had problems, mechanical variety for him. He's 49 laps down in 33rd, but 2nd and 4th in the championship. A running 2nd and 4th in the race right now. And if they finish like this, what was a 342-point advantage for Jeff Gordon drops to 227, headed to New Hampshire next Sunday. Six to go.
Ricky Rudd was quicker that lap than Kevin Harvick.
We've seen Harvick slip. We've seen Rudd slip. We've seen Wallace slip. He got the bumper. Here comes Rudd.
Oh, man.
The bump and run. Rudd goes back to the lead with 5 to go. You better get away from him, too.
VP, I told you these guys were better at it than most.
He better get away from him. This is going to be a popular win if Rudd holds on. He's a native of Chesapeake, Virginia. Not an hour's drive up the road from here. Junior on Harvick for second.
Float on the bottom, float on the bottom. Clear.
Here he comes again.
Still outside, 3 to go. 3, still outside.
Dale Jr., the farthest up of the drivers eligible for the $1 million bonus.
Ricky Rudd is loving this. He's looking at that rearview mirror. He's going, race, boys, race. As he pulls away as they're doing it.
2 laps to go for Rudd. Earnhardt Jr. gave it a try. Looks like he may have to settle for third.
Unbelievable. The turn of events in the last 25, 30 laps.
White flag is out. Final lap for Ricky Rudd. He inherited the lead when Rusty Wallace slipped off a 2. Then Rudd's car got away. Kevin Harvick took the lead. He got back to Harvick. Used the old bump and run on him with 5 laps to go. And it's going to be a big night in the championship for Ricky Rudd. Checkered flag is up. Rudd wins the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond. Is that a clenched fist being shown there?
I think they're okay with that.
Ricky Rudd pulling out a big night here in Richmond. He got the lead. He lost the lead. He got it back.
With Kevin Harvick. There's the bump. Up the hill he goes. Underneath goes Ricky Rudd for the win.
You could hear the bump too, could you? The audio. Oh, he's going to tear the grass up.
Yeah, the grass is all. They've used all the grass they needed.
Second Richmond win for Ricky Rudd in front of his home state fans. We'll hear from him when we come back in a minute. Ricky Rudd is trying to find his way to victory lane here at the Richmond International Raceway. Check out the victory celebration by the crew as he took the checkered flag.
That's that guy right there. Oh! Wait, nobody saw you. Don't worry. Watch. He's going to look for the camera. Anybody see me?
I'm happy. I'm happy. Tough part is the cars were coming to the checkered flag at speed.
That's why he got up so
and
fast.
He fell over the wall onto the racetrack side of it. I think it's been a hard night for Ricky. Look at those eyes. Wow. Well, let's see how Looney Tunes' old victory lane's going to get. Bill Weber's right in the middle of it all. Bill?
Well, this is an early birthday present for Ricky Rudd. He turns 45 years old on September 12th. He's the 9th driver this season, the age of 44, to go to victory lane. So to clarify that, 9 races this season have been won by a driver that's 44 years old. Again, Ricky will turn 45 on September 12th here in his home state of Virginia. Here comes his wife, Linda, into victory lane to greet her husband. And Ricky getting ready to climb out and really savor this victory. And here he is in his home state of Virginia, Ricky Rudd, and victory lane at Richmond. And I'll see if I can weave my way in here. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Go, John.
We got a lot to talk about. Congratulations, a big win for you here in Virginia. Early birthday present for you.
Yeah, it really is. I tell you, it was, Texaco, Haviland, Ford, Fatback McSwain, all these guys, Raymond, Fox, guys, Hoyt over, all these guys that work hard on this thing every week. We had a heck of a race car today, and looked like we weren't going to win it. Had somebody kind of rough us up a little bit, and looked like we weren't going to get back to the front in time. As it turns out, I was lucky I saved it. It was just a pure miracle, and gave us a chance to come back and win the race.
Well, let's review some things. Your pass of Rusty Wallace.
You know what? Rusty broke loose. It looked like I hit him. Rusty was real bad on that restart. I'm not really sure. He was holding the pack up, and we were running inches off each other, but honestly can say, and I think Rusty will tell you, I didn't touch him. He was just trying to put the hammer down really hard. He knew he couldn't lift. He broke loose and didn't get it back, How
about you in the 29, Ricky?
Well, that was, that was just a friendly little short track bump and run there. He sort of gave me a cheap shot, I thought, early on. He kept jacking me up in the straightaway, and I don't like that a whole lot. If you're gonna hit somebody, move on, go on, but don't just sit there and ride their bumper. But it all worked out. He wasn't. I was a little mad at the time, but we came back and won, so I kind of cooled off a little bit, and I didn't know what to expect on the cool down lap, and actually come up and congratulate him, so it was pretty neat.
How did you save that car?
Well, I'm just so daggone good.
I love a guy that's honest.
No, I'm going to be real honest. I haven't got a clue. It was one of them deals. I was looking where I was going to hit the fence backwards, and it gathered it up. I guess the good Lord must have steered it straight because I didn't have much to do with it.
Ricky, at what point were you aware the 24 was out of contention?
Well, I knew pretty early on. I was running about 4th or 5th when he wrecked, and I knew it was a pretty hard hit. I couldn't see him hit, but I saw the momentum as he was going up the racetrack. I knew it was going to be a hard hit, but don't wish those guys any bad luck. They've had a heck of a year. We've had a heck of a year. We just had more mechanical failures than they have, and Jeff's been running awfully good every week. He's dominated almost every race, and tonight it was our turn to win and gained a few points, and we'll see how it shakes out.
Back home in Virginia, congratulations.
Couldn't have come at a better racetrack. Thank you.
Ricky Rudd wins in Richmond with the same car he took to victory lane at Pocono. Let's check in with Marty.
We're with Rusty Wallace, and Ricky Rudd said that he felt like looked like your car got loose. Is that what happened?
Yeah, he didn't hit me. I just got loose. I really did. I put an extra pound of air in the right rear tire that last pit stop just because it was a little pushy before that, and I figured, well, for the last 20 or 30 lap run, we need a little air in the right rear tire to get the thing going. All it did is just made it really loose. And so he got behind me coming off of turn 2 and just took all the air off the rear spoiler, I just went up in smoke. And I tell you what, I thought I was going to clear down the back straightaway, but I didn't, and I was able to save it. And it's just so dejecting to lead that many laps, the first race here and the second race here, and finish 5th. We had a car that should have won this race by 15 car lengths, but it didn't happen. Next time I'll just quit messing with that right rear tire. It was good, but it took like 15 laps to get the car going, and I just didn't feel like we could sacrifice that at the end. And I would have never thought that would have made it real loose, and it did.
Boy, I almost hate to say this, but in the last 4 races here, he's led 867 laps and won none of those races. To Matt Yoakum.
And Kevin Harvick scores his best career Winston Cup finish here at Richmond in a patented short track kind of night. First off, how hard did you hit the 28?
Well, we aired our tires up there at the end to give ourselves a chance at the get-go, and it was scooting the tires pretty bad, and I just kind of misjudged and hit him a little bit harder than I wasn't planning on hitting him at all, but I just got into him a little bit, and he saved it. And when you get into somebody that late in the race on a short track, you got to expect a little bit in return. And
you knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming, and our car had fallen off a little bit, and his car was pretty good. So I was the first one over to congratulate him. He did what he had to do to win the race, and it's great when you can race with people. And I'm just glad I didn't take him out because I didn't mean to do it.
And even Dale Earnhardt Jr. gave you a few bumps coming down pit road?
Yeah, he just does that. Every time he's behind me, he just bumps me.
But that was all in fun.
Yeah. If we were at Las Vegas testing the first time I was in my Busch car and the Cup cars and stuff were out there, and he knocked the rear bumper cover off my car in testing. So we just play around. We like to have a good time.
Back in May, Kevin Harvick finished 17th, 1 lap down. Tonight, he almost picks up the victory, Alan.
The lead changed 3 times in the final 23 laps of this race. Wallace to Rudd to Harvick, back to Rudd again. Ricky's in victory lane. Welcome to the Autotrader.com post-race show from the Richmond International Raceway on TNT. Post-race wrap-ups of tonight's Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. What a terrific finish this one had. 3 lead changes in the final 23 laps, and it's Ricky Rudd who comes out on top to get his 2nd win of the 2001 season. Good points nights for Rudd and Jarrett after Jeff Gordon had his troubles early.
See, 17 cars will finish in the lead lap. Bill Elliott, the last, he will finish the lead lap despite the problems he had running the back of the 93 car.
Kenny Wallace in for Steve Park in the Pennzoil car, 21st place tonight. A lot of guys got overtaken in a caution that came out just after they made green flag pit stops, put them well behind. And you see Jeff Gordon going to finish 36th tonight. Got bumped by Sterling Marlin and crashed in turn 3, racing for third at lap 35. 117 laps down.
Ron Hornaday had a great run started tonight. Had some trouble over in turn 2, crashed out of the race. Mike Wallace on the front stretch, and Brett Bodine also out of the race.
Dave Burns just moments ago spoke with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale, you hopped out of the car, looked very tired. You worked hard out there tonight, right?
I was just kind of frustrated. We really couldn't get the car to turn in the middle of the corners to be able to keep up with the guys that were leading. It was a heck of a show. I had a great seat, probably the best seat in the house. Kevin got up there and run the back of the 28, and then Ricky run back by him, through him really. But that was a good race, and congratulations to Ricky. I'm sure it's not the first race Kevin's lost like that, and probably won't be the last. But we needed the points, and we finished third. We'd like to win $1 million, but we'll go to Talladega and try again.
All right, good night for him. Former winner here comes home third tonight.
Celebration ongoing in Victory Lane, and the Looney Tunes are joining in. How did our Looney Tunes cars fare tonight? Well, Taz did pretty good. Everybody else kind of had a rough one. Back to Richmond with more post-race coverage in just a minute on TNT. Back at Richmond, let's take a look at our Pepsi race recap and the highlights of the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. Lap number 6, John Andretti was the first to have problems on the night. Got together with Jimmy Spencer, cut left front tire. Buckshot Jones got turned around off of turn number 4. First of a couple of incidents he was involved in during the night. This was the big one, though. This is the headline maker right here. Sterling Marlin nipping Jeff Gordon, racing for third at lap 35. Another look at it. Gordon going to finish in 36th place, 117 laps down. Ouch. Moving ahead to lap number 93, Sterling Marlin, third in points coming in, broke the transmission on a pit stop. Went behind the wall, lost 49 laps making repairs. He finishes in 32nd place. Elliott Sadler, one of the 5 drivers eligible for the $1 million bonus if he could win tonight. That one went up in smoke against the inside wall on the backstretch. Mike Wallace gets bumped by Mark Martin. Big cloud of smoke. Somehow, about everybody makes it through okay except Wallace. Closing in on halfway. Here's the second of the incidents Buckshot was involved in. Ron Hornaday and he. Contact. Matt Kenseth would also be involved. Now the race getting down to its final laps. Things really got interesting. 23 to go. Rusty Wallace gets loose off of 2. Ricky Rudd goes to the lead. 17 laps to go. Kevin Harvick up into Rudd. Harvick goes into the lead. Great save by Ricky Rudd to hang on. Now 5 laps to go. Turn number 3, Rudd. The bump and run on Kevin Harvick. Excuse me, I'm going to Victory Lane. And Ricky Rudd does the Victory Donuts, celebrating his second win of the 2001 NASCAR Winston Cup campaign, and a big night in the championship for Rudd as well, winning while Gordon finished in 36th place. Top 5 finishers in tonight's race eligible for the next $1 million bonus race. Comes up at Talladega, October the 21st. Earnhardt Jr. This is a look at tonight's results. I'm sorry. I was thinking ahead. But that's how they made out tonight, so the $1 million stays locked in the safe. And Rudd, Harvick, Earnhardt Jr., Jarrett, and Wallace will go for the $1 million at Talladega, October the 21st. We're back to Richmond after this on TNT. On behalf of all the staff.
Look, Mac, just what's going on around here?
It's getting crazy out there. It's loony. It's wild. It's unpredictable. It's despicable.
The victory celebration kind of carried over a little bit. Over the wall, literally. Here are the championship standings after tonight's race here in Richmond. Ricky Rudd gaining 120 points on Jeff Gordon. Dale Jarrett gaining 100. And Sterling Marlin losing 2 spots from 3rd down to 5th. 10 races to go in the season now for Rudd and Jarrett to try and catch Jeff Gordon for the title. And Marty Snyder has just spoken with Dale Jarrett.
Well, never have I been around a 4th place finish that felt like a win. That was pretty incredible. I mean, you guys made about 15, 20 changes on that car tonight trying to get it better.
They worked hard on it. We were pretty far off at the start. We tried a little something new tonight or different than what we've run here in the past. We were just too loose, and we made a lot of adjustments, and credit goes to those guys in the pits. They worked their tails off. We gave up track position a couple of different times just so we could get the adjustments made and we could stay out there towards the end, and we got the car a lot better where we could race with them, and teammate Ricky won. That's great, and we had a good night, so things went well for us. We're awful proud of the effort that was put forth to get us in the top 5.
And a big gain in points, and they're going to run for $1 million at Talladega, where this guy's usually pretty good.
Thoughts of Dale Jarrett as he gets set to head along with the fans out of the Richmond International Raceway. We'll have some more thoughts for you on tonight's race when we come back. Some 100,000 tonight at the Richmond International Raceway, witnessing the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. And boy, what a finish did we all get to see. And welcome back to our Autotrader.com post-race coverage. Alan Bestwick here with Wally Dallenbach and Benny Parsons. Top of our show, pre-race coverage. In fact, we documented some of the craziness in the Busch Series race last night and people knocking each other into the wall and all the rest. We saw some bumping tonight, but of a little different variety.
Wally told us early on that in the pre-race show that these guys are really good at that bump and run. They're going to do it and not put the guy out. And Wally, you were correct, my boy.
We went to school tonight and we saw how to do it properly and to do it like you didn't really mean it.
Let's go back and take a look at the couple of bump and runs that wound up settling this thing in the final laps. You had first Ricky Rudd leading Kevin Harvick, and that one came down with off of turn number 2.
And what a great save by Ricky Rudd. Again, he said in victory lane, he just was trying to figure out where he was going to hit the wall.
First one was with 17 to go. This was with 5 to go.
And there's that, oh, I didn't really mean that. I just got in there a little bit too hot.
Right. That means I was coming in there to move you out of the way is what it means. But I guess what we saw tonight, bottom line, was the skill of Winston Cup drivers, the exceptional car control, because it was a bump and run. It wasn't a, I'm going to knock you out of the way.
And I think that what we saw also was a great no call by NASCAR. They saw Harvick get in the 28 car on the backstretch, and then when Rudd, and again, we all know that Rudd intended to go up and hit the 29 car, NASCAR said nothing about it. I think that was a great call.
And also, Harvick knew it was coming. Harvick knew that he had one coming, and he accepted the blame for it, and he said, hey, he did what he had to do, so that was good on Harvick's part to accept that.
So 3 lead changes in the final 23 laps of this one. Some using the old front bumper, but when it was all done, the veteran Ricky Rudd was in victory lane here at Richmond in the Chevy Monte Carlo 400.
The Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes on TNT is brought to you by Castrol Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil. Protects in ways other oils can't. By Kellogg's, the official breakfast food of NASCAR. And by Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular.
At the Richmond International Raceway was a most exciting night tonight. The Chevy Monte Carlo 400. Final results of the race. Tony Stewart got to the front, but never was a factor to win. Bobby Labonte, the 6th place finisher. Dave Burns spoke with him moments ago.
And Bobby Labonte started 6th today, and he finished 6th, but that doesn't pay the $1 million bonus. Didn't quite have it tonight, right?
No, not for the $1 million, but, you know, still all in all, we had a pretty good car. It was a little too loose to begin with, and we just changed a lot of stuff. Every stop we changed quite a bit, it seemed like, for us, and got it better at the end. And, you know, lap times were getting better, and, you know, car was getting a lot more comfortable and a little bit more racy. So, you know, we kept it clean all night and just kind of hung out towards the end of the race. And guys in the Interstate Batteries Pontiac did a great job. So, finished 6th is not too bad.
not too bad at all. He finished third last week, picked up 2 positions in the points, and this is not going to hurt either.
All right, Dave, thank you. And so we wrap things up with Richmond tonight with a gain in points for second and now third place. Ricky Rudd and Dale Jarrett. 10 races to go, and it's on to New Hampshire now next weekend. A thought?
I just can't believe how hard these guys run 400 miles. You watch these drive around the racetrack tonight, and they ran as hard as they could go, almost like qualifying every lap.
Wally?
I think we had a great race tonight, but I think we're going to have it's going to be a little bit different race at Loudon because you don't have that 2.5 or 3 lanes at Loudon. You see a lot of the cars happen to run on the bottom. So we might still see a little bit of pushing and shoving and doing some slide jobs next week.
All right, that's coming up next weekend as we follow the race for the championship down through the end of the season. Don't forget our encore presentation of the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes Monday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on TNT. Then next weekend it's Bud Pole qualifying from New Hampshire. CNN Sports Illustrated Friday at 3 Eastern time. Saturday, happy hour at 11 a.m. on CNNSI. The Busch North Series race on NBC at 2 Eastern. Then next Sunday, the New Hampshire 300 presented by Stacker 2 at 12:30 Eastern time. Up next, the Goodwill Games. Stay tuned for the drama here on TNT. 3 lead changes in the final 23 laps. A lot of drama here tonight. Big championship swing with that crash. It was one wild night in Richmond. Hope you enjoyed it.